So let's do it. Alrighty then. So we gonna start with a 5-man TP race. And we start with Brugels, Dean, JD Link Master, and definitely not FX. We're gonna call him FX on stream for this entire race. And there's one more, which is gonna be the Ethernet boys, who will be swapped in every now and then. I'm gonna make sure to get them some screen time as well. Of course, they're gonna get some screen time. As you can see, while we're preparing and while the runners are preparing, we have at least one runner, which is the one in the bottom right, not FX, playing in German. And why is that? It's fairly simple, because German is the fastest language to play for Twilight Princess. Actually waiting for the runners here to ready up, and then you're gonna see some good, nice action here for TP. But yeah, German, as I said, is the fastest language, and it's faster by 5.6 seconds, or 168 frames in comparison to English. And the reason for that is actually two things. First, the rupee text in German and some other small text are surprisingly fast in German. And also there's one text in the German version that was just changed to fast text, so skippable text, which is the bump back text, and that causes the German route to be a little faster. Alright, so we're waiting for everybody to ready up. 3 more missing here. Yes, Zavza. It's the Goan bomb back indeed. And Japanese as a language, which is usually the language of choice, is 0.5 seconds faster than German. However, the Japanese build of the game is a little newer, and it doesn't have a certain glitch that we are gonna talk about later in the run. So that's the reason why German is the best version. Or the fastest, let's say the fastest version. And again, we're still waiting for 2 people to ready up, and then we're gonna go. I actually need to bring up the commentary page I just remembered. And then it's about time to get started. Alright, so just waiting for people to ready up. It's actually not quite 2 different categories, as you said, Zafta. It's the same category on the leaderboard, or at least roughly. But the big point is that GameCube is just the fastest version of the game. We have filters for GameCube and Wii, so we actually have 2 different leaderboards. But back in the day, it was just treated as one single leaderboard. But the Wii version is around roughly 15 minutes slower. It's pretty hard to time because the latest route for Wii is insanely hard. So it does take quite a bit to get a perfect run out of it, and it's not as well played. So yeah. The Wii version doesn't get as much play as it could get, but if a perfect run was done, it would be around 50 minutes. So yeah. We are finally ready to get going, so here we go. time for the runners to start, and instantly we're gonna have some insane stuff on stream. So let's start talking what happens at the beginning. So as we begin, we all get out in the open, and we're gonna go into direction of the Odin well. And here we're gonna pick up a rock, and that rock is gonna be with us just for a short time while we bring it to the gate, and that's the Odin Gate. And here we're gonna perform the first glitch, which is one of the oldest glitches we know for Twilight Princess, and that's the Odin Gate clip, where we use the rock to clip into the gate. We basically squish in between the rock and the gate, and then we roll into the middle, which will swing and push us out. And as you can see, JD Link Master and FX got it, Dean as well, and Dean did the fast back in time setup. And now you can see Dean lands on the title screen, and he's voiding out now. And then he is saving. And then resetting. So all 4 runners did a glitch called Back in Time, which I will explain any second. But they just did 2 different setups. 3 of them did the safe setup, and the other one did the fast setup. And no, Zavza, it's not RNG. It's perfectly normal. It's just hard to time because the gate is on a certain timer. There's no RNG to it. The gate is 100% consistent in its swings. All right, so Back in Time, what does it do? Back in Time is a reset on a void out on the same frame that the game decides to trigger the void out. And that will cause the game to reload and put Link back, but not on the map where you actually started, but actually on the title screen map, which is a video, but playing on an actual gameplay stage. That means we're gonna be able to walk around, and we void out, which allows us to actually use normal controls because it will get rid of the start prompt. From there, we can do a save, and that will change a few things in the game. It will actually skip pretty much all of the early game. It will put the entire game in the state right after Eldon Trial, basically. It will tame Epona. It will give us the hero clothes, as you can see. It will give us the Hylian shield and the Odin sword. And now we basically skip the entirety of the early game, like the entire intro tutorial in Odin Village, and now can move on. So now we are basically in the entire trip where we save Talon, who was kidnapped, and now we're gonna rescue him. Got the lantern, and now got some keys. As you can see, there's not much going on right now. It's basically just rolling. Rolling in TP can differ in speed vastly. You need to time your rolls properly, to get the most speed out of it. If you mash, you're gonna be slow. If you push A too late, you're gonna lose speed, and so on. All right. So Dean, FX, and JD Link Master basically right neck and neck, getting into the loading zone. And here's a Talo and the monkey that was actually kidnapped. So now with the Odin sword, this is really easy. Usually we only have the wooden sword at this point, but we just gonna hit the bokoblins twice and then open up the cage with a quick spin, and that's it. We basically skipped the entire early game. Also, Anorakis, thank you so much for your $50 donation, saying good luck to all of the Twilight Princess runners. Let's see that JotWaD. I agree. And this puts us $40 close to the 7K, which would be amazing. Alrighty. Coming up next is the goat herding, which is basically the end of the entire Odin story. So there's 2 goat herding minigames. One is with 10 goats, one is with 20. We skipped the 10 one, so this is the 20 one only. And TLoZ can do it in a low tens number. So I believe like 12 seconds. And for human, possible and feasible is something above 16. Up until 21 is considered okay. Up until 18 is considered great. So Dean gets a decent one, an okayish one. Same with JD. And FX had a pretty hard time this time. The goats have some really finicky hitboxes, and also their movement sometimes just seems off. So that can be really challenging. And now we come to the next change. Early game is a lot of information. It will slow down a lot, I promise. As you can see, Dean is now entering the stand of the Odin village headmaster. And this is Bo. So since we did Back in Time, Odin is actually not in the state of the early game, but after we did Eldon Twilight, where we want to get up Death Mountain to the Goron Mines. And that's why we have this conversation right now where he offers you the iron boots, which you need to get past the Goron. Usually this is a cutscene, but since we did the weird Back in Time stuff, this is actually individual text boxes, which is a little weird. But hey, now we're gonna do some wrestling. There's two phases to this. Super full RNG. The move that Bo is doing is pretty much decided the second you have to decide. So there's no consistent strat. If you slap him, however, in the first attack and manage to get the slap in, you can push Bo off in one go if you mash 12 inputs per second or faster, as just presented by JD. Second phase, not that lucky, but it seems like everybody got okayish RNG so far. JD now done. Same. Hopefully soon with Dean and FX. And JD is getting his first actual item that he deserved, basically. No, we had the lantern before, but this is the first glitched item, basically, that we got a lot earlier than intended. And that's the iron boots, which is usually so much later. Like hours later, after several dungeons. Or after one dungeon. Okay, after one dungeon, but still. Really cool. And this is just 7 minutes in a perfect run. So that's pretty much all she wrote for the entirety of Odin for the rest of the run. We're not gonna come back here, because the iron boots are usually the only reason you come back here. Now we're gonna meet Midna. And Midna is the best side character, don't quote me on it. But here we're gonna enter this little crawling tunnel on JD Link Master Stream now. He's gonna crawl in here. And yeah, JD doing some shenanigans with the camera. And here he's trying to get to his girlfriend, his waifu. But they are going to be attacked by King Boblin, and Link is gonna be pulled by Midna into the Twilight Zone, and he's gonna turn into Wolf, and that's what just happened. So now we have Wolf in the Twilight, in this prison in Hyrule Castle. And here we're gonna meet Midna now. Midna's gonna sit up on our back. And now it's time for Wolf games. So Ilya was taken away, the kids were taken away, and Epona was taken away, and all of that basically is not taking place in this run, because we already did Back in Time, and we're basically in the latest state of the game. But now we're Wolf. Here we're learning to use our senses, which is really important later as well. Just this text box right there told us how to do it. And here it's all about movement. If you now check FX and Broggle streams, they're gonna do really precise movement. There's something going on here that's called dash cancel. So basically, whenever you dash as Wolf, there will be a cooldown until you can dash again. But if you do the dash right before a ledge, so it gets cancelled, or if you cancel the dash yourself using a B attack, like an actual punch, you will skip the dash and can instantly dash again. And there's several places where that's faster. All right, seems like we're gonna get a co-commentator. That's amazing. I had no idea that Keaton was ready to do the commentary, which is great. So Keaton is gonna join me, which makes this a little less training for me, which is pretty good. Small glitch here that we did. You can just now see it on Dean's side. So Dean did a jump in a precise angle that did knock down the rocks next to the stair that fell down, and still managed to miss the Midna trigger that did give them a Midna text. And that saves a few seconds, a second and a half or a 2.8, just saving a bit of time. Hey, Keaton, what's up?
What's up, Trez? Been a long time no see.
Yeah, indeed.
Last time
Nice to have you.
yeah, it was nice to see you too. I think last time we were both here was for a Wolf Dash race between 4 people at once.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of giving the same vibes, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. Join me. You
yeah.
can find the commentary page in...
I'm already on it right now. Don't worry.
Ah, great. All right.
So I don't know if you've been informed, but FX is doing another route. FX is doing Byte ZA. He asked me which route I'd want to see during this. I said it would be really interesting if he did Byte ZA. He's known for doing Byte ZA, but he's recently switched over to doing Gorge ZA, and so he's definitely he's been one of the first people to really push down some of these crazy routes past the sub 3 level, and I'm pretty sure you've seen them in the community. But it'll be interesting to see his differences in the route and the fact that he'll still be kind of near them. He's one of the first runners to really show this off.
Indeed. So there's 4 different routes for any percent that are all more or less competitive. They are like within a minute of each other, and you can get a really good time with either of the routes. There's the route that most people do, that is the no Zora armor, which is ZA for the person asking in chat, and Gorge Skip, which means we're using the Gorge Void if possible, and Rupee Roll to get past the Gorge later. Or there's the Bite route, which is back in time equipped, another version of back in time, which we saw right in the beginning, and then with Zora armor or without. And FX will show us the Bite route, which is really different, with Zora armor, so really interesting.
It's going to be a really cool route, and there is differences. There's a lot of differences between the 2 routes. In terms of the middle section of the routing, he's definitely going to be taking a different path and different approach in tons of ways. And you're going to see it's going to be really weird. You're not really going to be able to tell if he's very ahead or very behind them. And somewhere along Arbiter's grounds is really where they're all going to have their kind of meetup point.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Hello. I got 4 donations if you want me to read some of them.
Oh, go for it. Oh, actually, let us quickly go over this track right now. That's actually important.
There's a 5th one that may finish up by the time you get there, then.
Gotcha. Real quick, explain this trick. This is probably one of the most notorious tricks for Twilight Princess. This is known as Sword and Shield Skip. So in Twilight Princess, we have a special mechanic known as the LJA, where you can get kind of an extended jump based on enemy positions of where you're targeting, stuff like that with Link. It needs to kind of be rather above him or over a void or any one of those 2 conditions. And we drag an enemy named Hugo, that the community named, all the way over to this edge load zone area where there's a minute text trigger that will usually catch you and tell you, hey, go back to Ordon, get the sword and shield. Well, because of our back in time at the start, we actually can't. Ordon's in a state where that doesn't exist. We actually could never go do that. The game is soft locked at this point. but we use this enemy to do an LJA over her text and get into the load zone trigger. So we hit the cutscene to go into Faron Woods Twilight.
Yeah, and it's a really hard trick. So many people just drop the game right there because this trick looks not incredibly hard when you see it, but learning it is a big challenge, and many people take hours and hours to just get it once. And poor FX actually missed it twice now, and every single attempt takes over a minute because you can't do it again because Hugo doesn't have enough health anymore, so you need to void out and do it again, which is rough.
Once he dies, because yeah, you're gonna see him get back up, but if he dies in the middle of the air, you can't still target him. You can't get that jump. The LJA won't work like it's intended to. What's really cool is the Wii version of the game will show off a lot of enemy LJAs or enemy NPC LJAs a ton more than the GameCube version. But GameCube version will have another way to abuse the LJA.
All
right, Tom, go for it, and then we're gonna explain what's happening here.
All right, so 4 donations. I got one for $50 from Interaxis. It says, good luck to all the Twilight Princess runs. Let's see that JotWaD. I got one for $40 from Amibis. Now that you have 7K, do we get to hear the JotWaD poem? I got one for $20 from the Bean Seller. It says, donating for the best of the game. Good luck to all the runners. And another one for $10 from Link1183, who says, good luck to all the runners. I hope this all be able to get Gorge Void. Also, let's see about this JotWaD run.
Wait, is the donation goal a JotWaD run? Trez?
Yes, it is.
Oh man, that's perfect. Would you like to read the poem, or I can read the poem? I bet we both heard it more than once.
No, it's gonna be your honor, but we're gonna read it when we actually reach it. We have $145 out of $322 to it, so let's see if we can get it.
Oh wow, this early in too. That is a man. People have been raising it like crazy already.
Yes. Alrighty, so just quickly, big difference here in this Twilight now. So all runners that are doing the normal route or the usual route are not doing the vessel here. And now Broggles is doing another skip, and this doesn't look like much. He actually barely missed it. That was rough.
That is rough. It taunts you by you getting up there and you get the extra jump there. So for this trick is a decently precise. It's kind of more position and timing precise based off of like where the hand is on the watcher. Where Midna's jump attack pretty much, or her special attack, allows you to kind of get some extreme height if you're in the right angle or right positions to do it. And we use that to abuse getting on top of the out of bounds area and maneuvering around so we can jump right into the Sacred Grove. And luckily, Twilight Princess somehow doesn't crash during this and just lets it kind of go through the Sacred Grove this early on in the game. Indeed. All of the runners are going to do the same thing. Wolf as Hal, or Hal as Wolf Link, and they're going to position and keep going all the way through. But FX is going to have a bit of a different route by then. He's also going to be collecting this tier vessel right now and killing the bugs while he's going over to the Master Sword.
Indeed. So this actually allows us, as you can see, to now grab the Master Sword 20 minutes in instead of after pretty much half the game, or more than half of the game. So this is a big deal right now, and this allows us for multiple things. We're going to be able to switch between human and wolf whenever we want, which is big. We're going to be able to teleport, which is also really big. And our damage is doubled by sword, which is another really big thing. So this is just chasing Skull Kid, which is basically hitting him 3 times, or 4 times, or 5 times actually. Jesus. Yeah, it's just a little chase here.
It's a small game of hide and seek between Link and Skull Kid. It's got an interesting segment. I mean, we've got a lot of the Zelda games that kind of like have Skull Kid like mess around with you, but this game's kind of just a little bit more innocent on it.
And yeah, FX is actually, as Keaton said, gathering the tiers here, and will actually clear Faron Twilight, because he's gonna need multiple things here and gonna have to return here more often and in a different way.
From what he says right there, those 2 bugs that he just killed, which he did get good RNG, are kind of the only 2 that are really RNG based in the segment. The rest are like the other Twilight sections, very controllable by your manipulation. You're able to manip how they are.
Yep, maybe except for Lily Pet Box.
Well, yeah, I meant in this section. I mean,
Okay.
there's in the other section. There's your handful of bugs that you can't do much about.
Yep.
A lot of what FX Route's gonna do is killing bugs and then leaving them. So later on, he's gonna go collect them once he's coming back through.
Yep. So since we are gonna get the early Master Sword, even his route, he's just gonna be back here as human very soon, and can just collect the tears. They will stay. They will not fade, and the bugs will not return. So that's the perfect way to save a little bit of time.
It definitely helps speed up the process, and narrows down that time between the two different routes. Actually, these little things that are kind of convenient for this route helps it catch up a little bit. Same thing with, I thought, money routing in this version is way easier, or this route is way easier because of what's it called? Oh, what am I trying to think of? Where you're taking the prince?
What?
Why can't I remember it? Escort. There we go. Escort mission.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Literally, my mind was trying to think of it. But an escort mission, there's actually going to be a lot more money. So FX is going to be looking a little bit more rich than everyone else during that portion of the game.
Yeah, and he also has the option of the silver rupee, which is just...
Which he 100% goes for.
Yeah. All right, this puzzle right here is the same every time. Funnily enough, in the different guides that you could find on the internet and in certain books and stuff when the game came out in 2006, there was a solution that was actually one step more than what we do, because there's one single solution that can be done both ways that only takes 12 steps instead of 13. And that's what Dean and Ruggles are doing here. So that's the puzzle, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, 22-ish minutes in, we get the Master Sword.
Ruggles with a 22 Master... Yeah, actually, Dean coming out with a 21 Master Sword. That's pretty good for a race right now. He's going to be one of the most ahead. Do you know where the other two racers are? I think... Or was Zach unable to make it? I'm guessing.
Zach was sadly unable to make it.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're called. Who was the one other person?
The Ethernet boys. Actually, let's swap him in, and let's swap out FX. No, let's keep in FX because of the route. Let's swap out JD for now because JD is the furthest behind from the three from the three on stream.
Yeah, luckily for FX, because of his route being unique, we're probably going to be a little bit obsessed with talking a little bit about what's going on for him.
Indeed.
It is definitely... Oh, I'm guessing Ether did not have a good time with Sword and Shield Skip.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It looks like it for sure. That is unfortunate. Nope. I'm interested by what you mean, either on what happened in this run. Unless, like I was about to say, unless you're about to show me that you got Master Sword already and you're actually ahead of everyone, but I don't think we're in that position right now. It is quite crazy how you think that a cutscene that plays pretty much through, what is it? It's gonna be like 6 hours of casual gameplay for Twilight Princess. You can pretty much just access that super early in the game. It's fascinating how there's other stuff locked behind certain triggers between dungeons, completing a dungeon, completing this segment of the game for other things to be unlocked. But the Master Sword conveniently is just always there. And you can just hop out and go get it. It's kind of crazy. That's why the princess left that.
Yeah, indeed.
We can't warp a cannon.
All right, so now with the first warp, as you can see, we walk back to South Farron, and that's gonna be the chance for FX to grab the bugs that he already killed, or the tiers that he already killed, while the others are still gonna ignore the vessel. They don't need it. But now that they can freely swap between human and wolf, there's plenty of things to do here. So they are gonna go back towards the biggest area in Farron. And usually you're supposed, or you're losing your lantern here. And when you come here later and actually can do stuff here. And since we can transform into human, we can prevent all that crap and just get through this purple mist fast instead of waiting for a monkey to steal the lantern and emptying it and taking a minute or a minute and a half to get us through. So this is a lot faster this way.
It completely takes out, like, I know in HD, because they have to do it, they will push the monkey. Isn't that also no save and quit has to do it? I know there's another route that has to do it too. But pushing the monkey, I know that's what they end up doing. If you actually have to have the monkey in the route, is they will, like, try and push it with Link to push it forward slightly more and more as they go on. Very frustrating.
This is just an Nintendo, by the way, on GameCube. So
Hundo has it in GameCube. Gotcha.
Yeah. Alright, so since we are human, we do not need to finish this Twilight because we are a human and we can just burn this web right here, which is the only reason why you would usually not be able to get into Forest Temple, because you're wolf and you cannot use the lantern. But in this case, we can get into the Forest Temple, and that's where more shenanigans begins now. So as you can see on Burgles and Dean's side, they're gonna do a jump and jump out of bounds. And so, actually reset again and do back in time again. Go for it.
So we saw both of them do two different ways of actually doing the reset method. Dean did a way where he saves before, and then he's going to position himself and pause with the item menu, and then he's going to reset. And then we had Brogos over here who saves and uses that save pause to reset while voiding out, which it has both of them have multiple, like, certain frames that work and how they are, but it's definitely interesting to see side by side. Both of them just did the trick in two different ways.
Yep. And you just saw that there was some really confusing stuff happening. So they did back in time. We know that from the beginning. Then they jumped into the void and instantly did the save again. Did the reset again and loaded a file while they were voiding out. And that file had a certain combination of a room ID and an area, a room, and a spawn ID. And that spawn ID and that room ID fits with something on the title screen. In this case, the Bublin 1 fight. During the intro cutscene of this Bublin 1 fight, what you just saw, there's a flag in the game's RAM or in the memory of the console running down from an insanely high value at quick pace. And if you reset the console again or the game again before that cutscene is over and skip it at the same time, that value will just stop counting down and it will stop at a certain value. And this is the reason that we just now saw on Dean's side that he has 4 monkeys that he needs to get over to the boomerang. Because that flag, for memory saving reasons, was used for multiple things, in this case also for the monkeys. Since we kept that value at a certain high value, or that flag at a certain high value, we do have a high enough value to let the game know, okay, you save the monkeys, and we can just get over and skip all of Forest Temple. So we're just gonna get to Ook here, which is gonna be a 1 cycle because we have the Master Sword, and be done with Forest Temple. And that's kind of insane, kind of hard to understand, and really technical, but a really cool find that we did a few years back. And it's called All the Monkeys, and the trick to do it is called Back in Time Equipped.
It is quite, and more commonly known in most of the community as EBF, or Early Boss Flags, is how we'll call it. Luckily, that value stays very high. It's quite incredible that throughout the game, I think, like, casually, does it just ramp up throughout the dungeon while saving the monkeys? Like, is that how most dungeons are played out? Is by ramping up that value? Or is this just like a one-shot interaction? I don't know if you know that, Trez, but I'm interested.
Sorry, I was distracted for a second. What?
Do all the dungeons like ramp up the value slowly throughout the dungeon to where it would trigger that? So the flag with the early boss flags, how it's like a insanely high number because we do early boss flags, and after we do KB, it leaves it out there. If you play the game casually, does it actually like slowly ramp up the number itself while going through the dungeon? And you
No,
build up that number?
it's just set to 1 if you enter a boss room and then basically trigger the initial cutscene for the boss fight, which basically causes the game to instantly play the boss fight when you return after dying, for example. So certain actions like touching a blue wall or using a boss flag up in a boss fight will set it back to 0, and then triggering a boss fight will set it to 1. And,
Yep, and
yes,
then
event flags are shared between areas, as Garosaki said.
what's even more crazy is that in certain areas, I know if you void in the room where you get the floor monkeys, you will eat up all of you will eat up all of EBF, and you won't be able to use it anymore. The value
Yeah.
will be set to 0 now.
Indeed, that's just certain areas that do rely on this flag can influence it, and there's several things that do influence it. By the way, I can't get over the fact that the Ethernet boys, you can't see this on stream, but I can't get over the fact that Ethernet boys just having gymnast as his Blitz background. It's
Oh, a
amazing.
split background? It's okay. Gymnast likes it too.
All right. So what you just saw on Dean's side, and we'll now see on Bruggle's side as well, is called Forest Escape. And it's going to abuse a new method that we haven't seen in run so far that is really important for the rest of the run, and one of the biggest differences between GameCube and Wii. It's called... Yeah?
Here, I'll go take it real quick. Like we saw with Hugo, we called the LJA. Those ones are used with an enemy, or, an enemy or NPC, right? This one can be used with the boomerang. Luckily in this game, when you throw out the boomerang, when you hit the B button, you are still targeting the boomerang. Luckily, that allows us to hit one of the qualifications we need in order to do an LJA, which is an NPC or something to target. We're always targeting that boomerang. So if that boomerang is above us or out of bounds, typically where there's a void, sometimes out of bounds, there is like platforms in certain areas, but as long as it's out of, there's a void, you will get an LJA where your speed and height, your height's the same, your speed towards that area is going to be accelerated and much faster and go much further, making a very long jump. Which is where it gets the name as long jump attack.
You just saw this on the open field where it doesn't look like it makes much sense, but in this case we skipped over the mailman trigger. Because else the mailman is coming and running, hey! And gonna deliver a letter to you, and it's slow, and we just jump over it. On Wii, because the Wii version is a little older of a build, that trigger is so small that you can basically just jump over it. But
Wii's got... Man, we could talk a whole story about what the Wii version just cuts out, and how many little things they hadn't actually fixed in the game yet.
Yep. Pay attention to Dean's... Oh, he got it.
Ooh, right, he got Gorge Void. So that is a 1-frame input where you have to hold L and then hit A on the correct frame so you can jump out and void there. So Midna doesn't hit you with a text box that's going to tell you, hey, we got to go back over here and go get a bridge, stupid. I wish I was kidding. That's usually how she actually talks to you, though.
Yeah.
Luckily, now that he's done that, he's able to go over here to perform a trick named Ruby Roll, where he is going to LJA up onto a fence while also throwing his boomerang at this ruby, so that when he hits the fence, he's going to get hit by one of those notorious text boxes that TP is known for on its rubies. Here you go. This will allow him to stop his momentum at the top of the fence and roll onto the other side and catch the ledge. Also, congrats to Burgles on also getting Gorge Void.
This is an insane trick that you just saw on Dean's side. So he, as Keaton said, did use or abuse the rupee pickup cutscene to basically get Link back in a neutral state while being on top of the fence. Sadly, Bruggles missed it, and now he needs to go for the backup. But since he gets into a neutral state during the cutscene, he can just roll again, and he can roll over the fence. And really bad luck for Bruggles. He's not getting the correct rupee for the backup, and he needs to reload.
That's brutal, Bruggles. Unfortunately, if you do so, since how Ruby text blocks work is that if you get any Ruby that's above a green, the game, every time you reset, like, the game will always hit you with a text block of, hey, congratulations, you got a yellow Ruby, it's worth 10 rubies. Hey, you got a blue Ruby. Unfortunately, he was looking for a blue Ruby there, so he could still get the text box, because he'd already used up the yellow one, but instead he's going to have to save, quit, and now the yellow one is back and available. It's actually kind of nice. That makes casually playing it sucks to play TP and have to deal with the fact that the Ruby text box is always there. But in this version, or in terms of speedrunning, it's actually very good for us. So we do have a backup towards this.
All right, so we actually just saw on FX's side, the Twilight was cleared, so everything was lit up again. And now he is gonna go the same route and gonna try to get... Wait, now I gotta think about this before I keep saying something. Yeah, he is gonna get the forced the force warp to Fairman, so he's not gonna attempt the gorge work because he doesn't need it.
Yeah, he's just gonna immediately go get it.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do some funky stuff, which we'll look at. There's one thing I want to explain real quick because I see it in chat. So yes, the German version is 6 seconds faster, like give or take a couple of like milliseconds, stuff like that, than the English version. But in terms of Twilight Princess is an expensive game. Unfortunately, getting a German version isn't that easy for most people over in the United States. So most of the time, people, even at the world record level, still you can contest that kind of time, even with an English version. So most people don't bother to care. That's their only differences between a couple of text box differences, and some of the other routes, English is faster too.
Yep. All right. So as you saw just now on Broggle's side, he entered Kakariko and he hacked the wall by getting in. That's because there's a trigger on the ground which would trigger the bubble in one fight, which we saw earlier, messing up our current route and being a problem. So I need to hack the wall here to escape it. Also, both him and Dean only went into Kakariko to get the warp portal, because we're gonna need that later. Afterwards, you need to go back, however, to the gorge, which is what Broggle's doing right now. Meanwhile, you'll see FX doing it on the other side, because here we learn the map warp. So this allows us to not just warp by having to call Midna and select teleport, or warp, but we can just use it, do it using the map, which is gonna be super important to not softlock later.
Oh yeah. Or, if you're a robot, you could avoid soft-locking too, but, like, unfortunately, we aren't. Man, the time save we'd have, Trez, the time save we'd have.
If unfortunately. Just do text displacement, yeah.
Only we could do 30 perfect frame input presses of A and B simultaneously.
Indeed. So, Dean just did some stuff that we're going to see on Brugel's side, so just let's talk about what Dean is doing now. So, down in this lake, there is another dungeon, which is Lakebed Temple. We do not have the Zora armor, so getting in there is usually not possible. However, Link can be underwater for a certain amount of time, and it's barely, a few frames, enough with a certain setup for us to get in there with really precise movement, and this is called pillar clip. So we are getting down here using the iron boots. We're getting below this pillar. We're swimming back up, trying to clip inside. Oh, and sadly, Dean missed it.
Rough. So Dean is going to miss it, and he's going to have to drown to actually fix that.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Unfortunately, this is like one of the areas where TP has a lot of time saves or run killers. This area is definitely one of them. So the pillar clip, luckily, I remember back when newer days for TP, or back in the older days for TP speedrunning, pillar clip, they did have a setup for it, and man, you guys cut it to literally 3 frames before he drowned.
Yep.
Luckily, we now do a thing known as a setup known as setup list, which sounds crazy, where you kind of eyeball where you're gonna go, but depending on how early you sink or how late you sink, you can have more or less air when trying to get in to the dungeon, and it's kind of a lot more forgiving, and there's ways to definitely start out easier and not have it be as bad. As you see, Dean kind of pumped or started sinking down and then pumps over to this pillar with a thing called iron boot pumping.
This time he got it.
He's in insta clip right there.
Yep, and now he can just swim into the loading zone, and here's water all the way behind the wall, and the loading zone extends further. So he is in Lakebed, and since we have the Master Sword, we can just now safe warp here, because the game thinks, okay, you have the Master Sword. You can only have the Master Sword if you already have been here. So safe warping puts us in the first room past the water. Else we couldn't have done it.
FX got it. There we go. That's a weird camera angle you'll get. And I'm not gonna lie, this trick, like, it gives you some weird camera angles at times that work. Unfortunately, he's losing time to the fact, okay, Bruggles, that is an even weirder camera angle, but I'm pretty sure that one also works.
Nope.
No, it does not. I'm surprised. He actually got popped out.
I think it could have worked, but he got a little confused with the camera and pushed in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Just before the pillar clip happened, by the way, just quickly because we didn't touch on it, there was this Lunario Gate, and back in the day we used Epona and let Epona's butt basically push us through, and it was really slow and RNG. But now there's a good setup where we just noticed, okay, you can just, as Wolf, you can basically side hop through the swinging gate on a specific frame. So we basically just brute force our way through, and it works really well and every time, and it's fast. So that's just knocking into it, so it's starting to swing, and then side hop, because Link, as Wolf, has a really small sideways hitbox.
Nicely enough, too, for Twilight Princess. Luckily, we get the Master Sword early, and a lot of the run is going to showcase movement between both Link and Wolf Link. We utilize both quite often. A lot of the game is done switching between the two for doing certain things. And it's going to be quite interesting to see. They both have highlighted segments or parts where they're a lot better. Link kind of has more of a set... Oh, that really sucks for Ether. Great job on getting Gorge Void, but unfortunately he just bonked.
What's he doing?
I think he's going to Void out.
He's... Okay, he's not going for the... Wait,
what?
what?
Oh, don't tell me you're going for some crazy whack idea.
You gotta be shitting me. What? Oh, no, you need... Huh? Oh, he probably. Oh, he probably.
Oh,
didn't
he's
have
doing that,
health.
so he needs the HP to get to go do it. Okay, I thought he was about to do some like crazy insane stuff.
Okay,
I was like, okay.
You can also just go back and grab some hearts from the
yeah,
bushes.
the bush right there to the right has a very high chance of actually getting it. Oh, like I was saying though, luckily this run will showcase highlight both the different strengths of the two characters. So Wolf Link will run faster in certain areas and will be a lot faster. And definitely has a lot of strengths in certain kind of conditions like sand and other stuff like that. Well, Link has some special tricks up, or normal Link has some special tricks himself for that too. Also, as we see over on Dean's side, he's entering a boss fight from behind right now. Luckily, that early boss fight that he did way early in the run, it's still in play here. And he uses it so that he can get into this fight from backwards. And it's very useful so that you don't have to go through most of this dungeon, and we're immediately able to get to the boss fight of this.
Tom, by the way, we can get the donations right after this fight. So, here, Dean is just gonna look up to instantly make Deku Toad drop down. And then with the Master Sword, you need 10 slashes, and you have... you have the chance to get them all in one phase, but you cannot waste more than 7 frames during these 10 slashes. Dean got it in this case, so all good. On Brugger's side, you just see that he's getting Uku, which we're gonna need to quickly get out of here. And here we're gonna get our first claw shot. And I think this is the perfect moment to give it to Tom shortly.
Alright, well, thank you. So I got 4 donations, real quick. I got a $35 donation from Anonymous. It says, been lurking on ZSR for years. Thank you for all you do and for bringing this charity event together. I got a $15 donation from Benji. It says, I arrived 15 minutes later, so $15 it is. Best of luck to all 4 runners, especially to my boys FX and Dean. Hope y'all having fun. Looking forward to seeing some great TP action. Love y'all, less than 3. And I can confirm that he was only 15 minutes late. I remember him saying it when he showed up. Purple put a $10 donation in for saying donating for poetry. And then Smoking Gin, or SMK Gin, put in a $10 donation with no comment. That's all.
Thank you all so much for the donations.
You guys are amazing. You're really getting close to hitting that goal for JotWaD. Because they're really pushing to hear that poem go off. We're gonna see FX. So he collects Oko after getting being Deku-Toed. They're gonna need this saves him. So basically, this is gonna lose them time for a little bit, but saves his route's time. So right now he's gonna lose like 15 seconds to what everyone else does. Later on in the run, he's gonna save 25 seconds. So he's gonna gain back. Like he's gonna break ahead with 10 extra seconds there. Have the others in terms of that routing, and that's just because of how the Zora Armor route is done.
Yep. In general, this route that he's doing is around 30 seconds slower than the optimal 90% round that the others are doing, but it has a couple of advantages, including being a lot more consistent. All right, Dean. Dean is doing something risky here. So you see the Carrock with the Carrock Rider that Dean just raced towards as Wolf, and that Carrock Rider takes forever to kill. However, in Twilight Princess, enemies basically instantly die, and pretty much all enemies instantly die on touching water. In this case, he goes into a specific position and lures the Carrock towards the water, so the rider on top touches the water, instantly dies, and that skips the fight. However, it's risky. If the Carrock grabs you while you're on the water, and while the Carrock rider dies, the game will just hard crash. Like, you will actually crash. You have a few seconds to save it, but that's rough. Also,
it is
here, yeah, go for it.
It is a brutal crash that you need to fully reset your console, go through the Wii menu or GameCube, and have it fully restart kind of crash. There is no avoiding it if that happens. If you're quick enough, like Trez said, you can get a really quick save in there, and then you can just save and quit, and you'll be fine then. But if you get that hard crash, you got to go through a bit of Lakebed again, and then come back out, do more movement, and repeat the whole trick. It's a really bad time loss.
Also, as you can see on Dean's side, walls are a mere suggestion, even in this game. Same on FX sides right now. If you, as the Carrock, push into the wall right there at a certain angle, you can push out of bounds and just basically skip the entire course and fly next to the course, saving around 8 seconds, I believe, by now. Yeah, well, that's a lot easier of a flight, and it looks cool.
Yeah, this flight is actually very easy. There is some, like, precision to it in terms of, like, just having a good angle will keep you, make sure you're shaving off those seconds. The route that the Carrock takes normally is just very twisty and curvy, which will make you lose a lot of, like, time just from that basic kind of race mechanics in there.
I'm back again, if you guys got time for one.
Hey, sure, you're good, dude.
Okay. I got a 75 donation from Bachan, who says, "Let's go Brugels." That's $75 donation, brings us up to 265 out of 322 on that bonus run. So we're getting there. We're getting close.
And we really are. And we still got 2 whole hours of this run left.
Indeed.
Well, at least. Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna bring JD back. He actually didn't get the Gorge Void as the only one of the 4 Gorge Void runners. So that only has a minor difference on the route in terms that you lose a minute and 5 just because of that. And
but
then
he's actually right now perfectly. I think he's about to go and show off all of the movement that missing Gorge Void gets you. So if you've missed Gorge Void after getting the Claw Shot and getting the portal that we see Dean Machine 42 so graciously showing for us, he's gonna have to run all the way back, do a force escape, and then run all the way here. And basically, this is just going to leave, like, the time he's losing is the time that you would have to just be able to warp straight to the portal right now. And that sucks. That's where your whole minute time loss kind of comes from.
Yep. Alright, so Dean is now entering Kakariko Twilight, or Eldon Trial, and actually doing Eldon Twilight. Keep in mind that now, coming up next, right now, there's gonna be some really crazy stuff happening on FX's side. While Eldon Trial is really cool, we are probably focusing on FX for now. He's now gonna go to Farron Twilight, North Farron, Farron Twilight is cleared, to North Farron, and get the ending blow, which is required for the game, because you cannot beat Ganon without it. So FX is getting it now, the others are getting it a lot later. But yeah, so he's now going for the ending blow. Meanwhile, Dean, while in Twilight transformed to human, thanks to the Master Sword, and as human, you can actually side up into this well, skipping the entire flag, lantern thing in the cathedral.
Yeah, it skips doing a whole entire puzzle that goes on in the cathedral there. It's not too long or lengthy, but this is definitely much quicker. And you're able to come back out here, and that bug he killed right before you enter, like we said, bug stay dead. So the bug's just nice there and waiting for him, so he doesn't have to wait for the tear to drop all the way down. Luckily, yeah, FX route, he is just kind of graced by, like, this is some of the nice things of his route. He just kind of gets ending blow right now. He does get to be the first person to get ending blow of all the runners. Then his run's going to get a little bit crazy. This is where he starts doing the crazy stuff, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is where he's going to bite over.
Indeed. He's now going to warp back to South Farron in terms of a death warp, because it's the fastest way to do it. And then do a save and do another back-in-time equipped early boss flag like we saw it earlier, with one difference that you're going to see soon.
Also, real quick, for anyone who's wondering about this Twilight segment, all of these guys are going to be mirrored. All routes are going to do an extremely similar version. And so, if you watch one, you've kind of seen how it goes. A lot of them are just optimal and using very minor tricks.
Yep. Since we missed the beginning of the hotel on Dean's side now, we're going to go over it when Brugels or JD get there. Because the hotel is really interesting in terms of movement and shows how specific and how really precise movement in Twilight Princess can be. Because the hotel is like the best example of it. Alright. So, FX actually death warped, now he's saved, and did back in time, as seen earlier. He's now on the title screen. Now he's going to load the file, back in time equipped, as we saw in the Forest Temple for the others earlier. But instead of resetting, FX is going to do the fight, actually. Also, Tom, currently in the lead is Dean. Alright, so we're going to do the fight. There is a consistent strat for this, but it's slow. So we're going to do the RNG version of this fight, where King Bubble is just going somewhere. And this time he's going to his summer mansion, apparently.
Yikes, that is unfortunate. That is some not the greatest RNG you can get there. But FX is going to try his best to recover off of it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, even if you practice this a lot, I've heard you can get a very consistent to only lose around like 4 or so seconds. But it's definitely very hard. Alright, over here on Burgle's screen for Mansion, he's going to jump attack up onto that ledge and then jump off, which is also resets his dash. He's going to dash up all the way up the stairs, jump attack, grab this bug real quick, come over here, B attack. Oh no, you also do people A attack off there now?
Sometimes, sir.
I was like, I know some people A, some people do a B. B drop. Yikes, that is rough.
Yeah.
Luckily up here, if you're very precise with your wolf jumps, you can actually hop up each of these ledges and keep dash resetting consistently to get all the way up there and then side hop into the load zone. Yeah. Right also, after this is another super cool segment where you're going to see a dash cancel over here where they're going to dash B and then dash again.
Yep.
Well, it's a dash B, B dash, right? There we go.
Also on FX's side, if you notice it closely, instead of fighting King Bublin heads on the bridge like a real man, he actually just turned around right in the middle, went beside King Bublin and just pushed him off twice. That is the fastest strat to do it, but it looks really funny.
It is pretty disrespectful of a joust right there. You know, Link does not play by the rules when he's going fast.
Indeed.
And you know, FX is gonna kind of join everyone. Welcome to the team, FX. Is he ahead? Is he behind? Hard to tell. I'm not gonna lie. It is really hard to tell. I think he's definitely a little behind due to his 2 misses on Sword and Shield skip. He's played the rest of this very well.
Yep.
Unfortunately, too, for Sword and Shield skip, when you do have this many runners on here, some are bound to miss. Unfortunately, in Twilight Princess, even your world record holders, they have days where that trick stops them for hours. It's just how this game boils down to.
Yeah. On Brugel's side is going for the bomb house skip. So he actually used an LJ to get over. Now he's killing this bug before it enters the crawl space. And killing this bug will trigger all the bugs in the flat to die and basically burn the house down. As you can see, the house is now gone. If you don't hit the bug before it enters, you're actually gonna get in there and the bug's gonna set the house on fire and you're gonna get out of there and the house will explode.
JD is going to do an even more interesting version known as Wolf Bomb House Skip, where instead of transforming, he's going to do some pretty precise movement with some side hops and some staggered jump attacks to where he's going to be able to hop over here without transforming a human. This does save a decent chunk of time and is going to have the same end result, but without the two transformations.
Indeed. So quickly, because we didn't talk about it earlier, FX is just here in this room where there's a consistent strat to lure the bug down here into this hole to get it faster. And now we're all four in Eldon Twilight. By the way, Dean just killed all the shadow beasts in that area in a really fast way, so he could make a little earlier steam cycle to get up the ledge. And he is now done with a 55-52. Which is a really good time for, especially for a marathon run with Eldon Twilight.
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to these things, Twilight Princess is one of those games where a lot of times you just have the freedom of resetting. Things go wrong, you just reset. It's okay. It's known. Our community is known for a lot of resets. This game is brutal at times, but in marathons and races, unfortunately, that is completely taken away. And it's kind of a silver lining, though you no longer have resets there. Your opponent doesn't have that either. And these kind of become a mesh of who can adapt to getting dealt with things, who doesn't tilt off of missing a sword and shield skip, who is able to come back and still play well through things, right? Who doesn't throw in the late game, who doesn't throw at a certain trick, right? And there's definitely a lot of backup tricks where, you know, if two people miss a trick and someone knows a better backup, they can just gain a lot of time. We won't see it right now, but even down to FX's route, since it's safer, if Dean, Bruggles, or JD end up messing up in a fight later on known as More Fuel, FX reaps so much time on them. Immense amounts. And his risk is 0 compared to theirs. He moves his risk to a different section, which we'll talk about later, once he's there. But it's definitely interesting to see how Twilight Princess plays out in terms of a time attack game and then also a race game. It's definitely a different playing field as a race game. Consistency definitely outstrives just being overall fast.
Alright, so Dean is now getting the Lunario Twilight Vessel, which is by far the longest Twilight in the game. Also the one that takes place in the most locations. And some consider it boring, but there is a lot of cool stuff to see in this vessel segment. Bruggles is right on his tail, by the way.
Yeah, he's definitely doing his best to keep up with Dean, moving over the meteor from, or the volcanic rock from over by the Gorons over to Lunario. Fortunately, some people find these sections boring, especially as a viewer. As a player, sometimes these could be some of the more fun sections. They're very movement intensive, and you're out of the early game's kind of trick heavy session. Instead of tricks, you're handed with, hey, do good movement. You're going to be doing some pretty precise movement, but it pays off if you practiced. It's very satisfying to get good at these sections. Lunario has some RNG in it, definitely a lot more than the other two, which we'll see here in a little bit on Dean's side.
Yeah. Also, Bruggles, as you just saw, side-hopped on the first frame that you could after getting out of the loads and skipped a little Midna text, and also decided to sink into the water with iron boots and get out through the tunnel, which is the only way to skip a cutscene that will take place there with Rutella. Rutella, not Nutella, really important. That would take place otherwise.
Actually, wow, wait, Bruggle's got that side hop. That side hop is like...
Yep.
The side hop is known as a 1-frame side hop. You'd swear by the community and all of its runners that we say it's like a quarter frame. Like, that thing happens rarely. No matter how
Indeed.
hard you go for it. It is, for some reason, the hardest 1-framer in our whole entire run there.
Absolutely, for whatever reason.
It's a notorious
apparently-
one.
And apparently it's not even just 1 frame, apparently it's 2 frames, but it's so hard to hit.
Really? That's crazy.
Yep. Also, Dean here with this. Whoa, Dean, that was. Whoa! Okay, that was like so close. That was last frame, easily.
So, he just did a trick known as waterfall side hop, where he side hops from that little waterfall section with some good movement there, pretty much. Using L targets to kind of like swim to the right, and then he'll hit a bit of collision where he will have 6 frames to side hop. Exactly 6. Sometimes it changes depending on if you have a weird angle, but typically if you're getting the right angle and doing the setup correctly, you're going to have around 6 frames. First 3 frames do not work. You will fall off and you will get this weird little... You will land on this other area. We're going to need the claw shot back up. If you get on the last 3 frames, you will get the result that you saw for what we saw from Dean, where you're going to pretty much get onto that ledge and you're going to be able to go straight away. Yep. That is the quickest way of doing the movement in the section. It is very hard to get down though.
Yep. And I think Dean just hit the very last frame there, because that was really.
Yeah, that was a close one for sure.
Yep. All right, Bruggle's soon to follow. He's actually gonna grab one buck up here by bonking the wall and then getting in a precise position to get it. Buck didn't really play along, but it worked out in the end. And meanwhile, FX is now done as well with the Eldon Trial, and from now on the route's gonna sync up for a little while before they will defer a bit again.
Yeah, definitely after Lunario, things are gonna start going a little bit crazy. We're gonna see our runners kind of... FX is gonna be going through a wonderland of different quests he's gonna have to go do. It's definitely gonna be quite entertaining to see the differences between the 2 routes, and just the fact that somewhere along the line they're gonna kind of just all meet each other again. Not many games actually have multiple routes that all can kind of do very similar things and be by each other at multiple points.
By the way, while we have a little bit of downtime, because there is not that much happening here besides Dean just pushing up the camera to get rid of the lag in this area. Let me quickly remind you why we're here and what we're doing, because that's really important as well. So we are here to gather donations for the Pank1 Network, which is an organization devoted to improve the conversation and the networking between science and medical workers to improve the treatment and the science behind and the understanding of pancreatic cancer, to get us all for a better future where we are better in treating pancreatic cancer, finding solutions against it. And pancreatic cancer was one of those cancers that really has super low chances or odds of surviving and isn't that well understood. So that's what they're devoted to. We are gathering donations. We already made it past $7,170, and we're trying to get to 5 digits. So maybe let's do this. If you participate, you can win a really great prize. The grand prize is a Nintendo Switch OLED, so the new model. There's also really cool other prizes, like a original Philips CDI in working condition, really cool Zelda swag, apparel, all that kind of stuff, artwork. You will find something that's really working for you, and I hope you're gonna help out.
Definitely. It's a pleasure to get to come out here and work with ZSR, where they come out and they hold these big events for all of us. It's nice that we have a central hub that actually holds these things. And you guys helping and coming here, not only donating, but those of you who are here just to watch. That means the world to us, and definitely helps us keep coming back in the next years to try and keep these ZSR marathons happening and your normal weekly races that end up happening.
All right, so as you just saw on Dean's side, he did some really interesting movement in this area. In Castletown, Wolf is really slow, because Wolf and Human have different movement speeds depending on, or max movement speeds depending on the area. So normal dashing is just slow. So instead, Dean just did constant dash canceling. So dash, B attack, dash, B attack, dash, B attack. And that's actually a little faster than doing normal dashes because dashing is so slow in this area. Looks weird, feels weird, is not exactly easy to get down super perfect, but it saves a bit of time.
It's so slow the game won't even let you dash reset on there. It's really annoying.
Yep.
I tried to figure that out. I tried so hard. I was like, maybe we could save time by dash resetting, and then I was like, nope, you can't do that. You're too slow. So yeah, it's.
I think we have 4 out of 4 for the waterfall jump, by the way.
Wait, really? Wow, that is incredible. We do have one more tagging behind, but we'll probably see him near the end side.
Yeah, let's actually see how Ethernet Boys is doing, shall we?
Yeah, can we pull him up over JD? I think it's still the same. We'll probably have him and JD swap out a bit, unless you guys want to... Because I don't think we can move FX. I don't think we want to move Bruggles or Dean since they're very close.
I just put out Bruggles for a little bit, and we're just going to bring him back later.
Gotcha.
So Ethernet Boys just finished Eldon Twilight, so he's actually quite a bit behind the others. Didn't have a great run so far. But hey, that can change, of course.
Yeah, definitely that is kind of the curse of TP. We do have a brutal early game, and that early game will kick you while you're down. It'll keep kicking. It won't stop. And in these kind of events, luckily we have runners with a strong will who will keep going through that kind of brutality and keep pushing through. And luckily we do have runners like that right here, as we're seeing from Ether.
Alrighty, so Dean coming up on the boss block, which seems really rough and definitely caused nightmares for little children playing this game back in the day.
I don't know who came up with that idea too. Who thought of this giant bug? Also, even worse, why does it only give 1 tier when it's this big?
Yeah, indeed. There's quite a few strats to make this fight faster, by the way. So here we do a quick jump to get them. Oh, and Dean missed it. So if you're fast enough on your second jump, you can instantly grab the bug again before it goes up. Missed it once. Gets a second attempt. Come on, Dean. And this time he gets it.
Right there, nice.
And now a little optimization. Before we let go of the area attack to kill all the legs of the bug, we just get into the water, which cancels it, and that will do a quick kill here. So that's it for Lunario Twilight. Alrighty.
JD also wrapping up the Lunario section right now by finishing up this flight. All of the Lunario section always wraps up kind of this flight right at the end. Unfortunately, he's kind of messed up one of his bug kills, so he's going to lose a little bit of time there. We have Dean about to start post-vessel shenanigans in his route specifically, which 4 of the other runners are doing, FX being the only one who's not. You're going to see him doing a convoluted setup so that he can go get certain items. First, he needs to go get a temporary bomb bag. How are we going to go that? We're going to go save Isa and then go request to help her with whatever she needs, which is typically it's bombing. We're using bomb arrows to bomb out all the rocks in her little hut and then her like path for her boat minigame. We're just going to take the bomb bag and then we're going to leave. First, though, Dean's got a little mission. Yeah, we do steal. Link isn't the greatest guy in this game. First, though, we're gonna howl before we set our crime, you know?
Yeah, so everybody
gonna, you know, Dean's struggling with the house statue, you know?
But yeah, we're gonna howl here to actually activate a golden wolf. As you know, and as you saw before, FX already got their ending blow, which is really important because we need it. But all the runners that did the 80% Gorge Ride route with no Zora armor didn't get it yet. So they need to get it, and the fastest way to get it is by doing the howl here, because that will spawn a golden wolf right in front of Castle Town, which is where we're gonna land after Midna's Desperate Hour anyways, and that works perfectly. It's the fastest way to get it, and thus it works out beautifully. So we're activating the wolf here, and gonna go for that golden wolf later. And we are 5 out of 5 for the waterfall jump. Amazing.
Are crazy. Good job, boys. That's crazy. 5 out of 5 on that trick. And, I mean, wait, did anyone miss Gorge? Oh, yeah, we had JD miss Gorge for it. I mean, hey, that's so incredible. You know, we get 3 out of 5 technically because one doesn't do it. They're doing an interesting way of tackling really bad bugs, but does it quite quickly and quite well. Alright, on Dean's screen, we're at the CMB a criminal. Nick's supposed to be the hero, but he's about to make some bad choices. He's going down a dark path.
Alright, so time to steal the bomb back. As said,
Don't worry, we'll leave her a present. We'll leave her a present, don't worry.
We kind of like Isa, so we're just gonna leave some bombs here so she can have a party. Then we're gonna head out.
Maybe she can figure out how to use the arrows to take out that rock there.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? We don't even have the arrows to take out that rock anyway.
I mean, we could still take that rock out with the boomerang, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Alright, now we're emptying the bombs because her bombs suck, so we don't want them. But we actually need some water bombs, and these water bombs are really important because water bombs have a really specific feature. They work underwater. Who would have thought? And there's one problem with that. The game doesn't allow you to swim with water bombs, and that's gonna come into play really soon.
So now that Dean's got his water bombs, he's pretty happy. He's feeling good about himself. He left that nice lady some nice bombs. Now he's got himself a beautiful bag of 10 water bombs. The world's his oyster. He can go do anything. What's he gonna go do? Well, he's gonna go get another bomb bag.
He is gonna get another bomb bag.
Big explanations towards this. So, why can't we just keep her bomb bag and use all of her water bombs? Well, other than, I don't know, we have some respect for Isa, we're gonna have to return that bomb bag one of these days. And whenever you beat a dungeon or die, guess what? You're returning that bomb bag to Isa, and you're gonna respawn after. So, all of our precious little water bombs will be erased. And we're gonna need water bombs through a lot of this game. Right now, we're gonna see the first instance of swimming with a bomb. So, Dean's going to take out a water bomb, and in the animation of taking it out, he's going to force unequip Iron Boots by putting another item over it, and then after doing that, he's going to be able to swim the bomb. If you immediately hit A after doing this, you will rocket link to the top. We call it rocket link because you just shoot all the way to the top of water. Now, if you hold on to the bomb and swim with it, and then hit A, instead of rocketing up, you will just refill your air all the way. Also, amazing waterfall movement right there. Dean coming down, raining bombs on the world.
Alright, so here, coming up is the one trick that is the reason why Japanese is not the fastest language. Actually, it is still the fastest language. Yeah, it's actually not. It's not the fastest version, but only by a bit, not by much anymore, because we have a separate trick now. But Dean just did a trick called Map Glitch. Map glitch is a glitch where you use the one frame between warping confirmation in the map and actually warping where the game is allowing something else. in the 1.1 version, which the German and American build is based on, that frame can be, or that action can be cancelled by Midna. So if we hit the map trigger and the Midna button at the same time, Midna will just cancel the war. During that frame, however, all interaction between Link and loading zones, like an area transition, is disabled. Link's character is set into a state where he cannot interact with loading zones. That allows us... Sorry, can I...
You keep going. You keep going.
Okay. This allows us to actually skip past the void floor that is in the snowstorm. The snowstorm usually requires us to get the fishing rod, which we skipped and cannot get in this route, get the recrease sent, and then get through it. We can't do that, so we skip through it. And now we howl, which is a different transition, which allows us to get rid of the map glitch and reset, basically, to get back into the loading zone where you need to get back into, which is the crawling.
You saw just a second ago, FX is doing some crazy shenanigans where he is moving opponent to a ledge. He needs to do this so that he can void out so he gets into a certain segment of the escort mission because of missing seconds in the game. This is the fastest way you can do it. So he has to void out at that specific area so that he gets placed over here. Now he's going to go collect some rubies while, going through the pretty much like, for escort, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just have to kind of follow the path and protect them. We're about to have an extremely cool trick as the opponent's light coming up. This is basically a thing known as break sliding, but you can also do it on the opponent. I don't think he's not going to do it here, is he? I can't believe this, FX. But right after that, we're going to have some more fun shenanigans that's going to come up.
All right. Before FX is doing the opponent's light over the gorge, we just see Dean voiding out right here on this top of Snow Peak Mountain, and thus he skipped the Shadow Beast fight. This means we never activate the portal here, and we never clear the fog, but we can still proceed to Yido and do snowboarding. However, since we never cleared the fog, it's going to be mostly blind. There will be no clear vision, and that makes it a little faster. Back to FX.
And the saddest part about getting the Yeto is that everyone skips him. He asks you if you want to take a spiritual journey, and we always say no. Over here, FX is going to do a very precise double over one framer trick where he's going to do an opponent slide. That is very rough. That is very rough. Well, he just tried to make opponent fly, and unfortunately, opponent said I can't. And now he's going to try and teach her again. That's going to set him a good way back. Unfortunately, like I said, the other route that Dean, Ether, JD, all of them are doing, well, their risk is a little bit later. FX pays it forward right now, and his is up to him. Unfortunately, that trick is pretty much a very, very precise timing, but you have full control of it. Unfortunately, he missed it. Later on, Dean, Ruggles, Ether, and all of them are going to have a trick that is going to be very, very hard too, and is more to rely on RNG. Yep. FX might still be able to carve a way out, depending on how their side of the fight goes.
Alright, Dean getting through blind snowboarding. It looks harder than it is. There's some really good visual cues to get past it. That was, by the way, super risky, Dean. You almost voided out there. If you jump too high, you just void.
Yeah, I hate that, man. I spent too many hours looking for a faster route out here for all to be void zones. I can't believe how many they put up there.
Yep. Alright. FX, come on.
FX is about to grab or land this right here. Also, funny thing for blind snowboarding, the collision still does exist. Even though, like, the fog makes it so that it doesn't seem like it exists, all the collision that was there is still there. So you can still get hit by invisible things all the time. Alright, FX, let's go. Come on. You got this, buddy.
Yes!
Alright, he's looking at it, and it's a good... Oh, look at that immediate remount. You know, he delivers us with a solid opponent slide over.
Yep, indeed.
Let's go.
Here
now
again...
doing...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go. No, you got it. You got it.
Okay, here again, FX had to skip past the King Bubble in one trigger, and actually got it. So he had to jump over it. By the way, as you can tell, Snow Peak is a shitfest. All the walls and all the ceilings are just mere suggestions. In Snow Peak, you just skip past everything basically instantly. This is the latest change to the route in any percent that was actually incorporated. Back in the day, we did a trip around, but we found out that we can actually clip through this ice wall as Wolf. So we just clip through this and go a faster way back into the courtyard. Which is funny, because that was attempted years ago, because we figured out it's slightly faster, but nobody came to, or tried it as Wolf, which just is a lot easier. So it saves a few seconds and saves getting a small key.
Over here, he's going to do a trick known as Freezer Clip, which unfortunately has caught Dean in his tracks with his tail between his legs.
Yes.
Fortunately, he's going to have to respawn, and let's just say Freezer Skip rather goes one of two ways. You rather immediately get it, or you're about to be here. And that death, hopefully, is the only one he takes, but unfortunately, Freezer Skip sometimes likes to keep going for more.
Let's see what Burgles is doing, because that...
And
Botron's
correct, is about 15 seconds is saved off of that trick optimally. Typically, it's around 12 to 15 seconds. Came from that new, the new route we do for, what's it called? Snow Peak.
Oh yeah, thank you, Botron. Alright, so now Dean actually clipped in, and now we're gonna fight Darkhammer. Darkhammer fight is annoying, but there's luckily a good bomb strat that allows this to be fairly easy. So you basically just run around him, drop a bomb. Oh, really interesting setup that Dean does there. The bomb will explode, and then it's... Oh, barely got it. A quick one cycle for Dean.
Unfortunately, he was a little bit too close to his legs there. He was a little bit finicky on the hitbox on these guys over here, so you have to be really careful about making sure you're hitting their tail and not their armor, or else the game's just gonna clank and tell you nope. That really sucks. We have Burgles over here pushing forward. Hopefully, he's gonna get Freezer Clip pretty early. He's going all the way back to try and reset it. Freezer Clip is a mental game. It is literally the biggest mental game of TP nowadays.
Yeah.
And there we go. Let's go, Burgles.
Yeah, and it's actually a super simple, easy trick, but that's often causing people to just miss it.
I feel like I come back to this game, I can do so many tricks, and I get the Freezer Clip, and I'm just stuck. I'm just like, well, time to sit for a while.
Same.
It is one of those tricks that it really isn't that hard, but it really is that hard at the same time. Mentally, it taxes you way too much.
By the way, we didn't talk about it yet, but rupee management in TP boils down to the fact in any percent that you just need to have 300 rupees before you can get to City in the Sky. And in the Gorge Void no Zora Armor route that 4 of the 5 are doing, you get 200 in Snow Peak. One in the back room behind Darkhammer, and one in the entrance. Dean just got both of them. These rupees can be stupid, because they can just void out of bounds sometimes. But it's fine. And now we are back using Uku in Lakebed. It's been a hot minute since we've been here, but now we're back, and now we have the water bombs that are required to actually finish this dungeon. But since we don't... And... Oh, the last bomb. Oh.
Hey, Dean, you almost threw the whole... Well, there's a backup to that. He could have backed it up still. I don't know if he knows it, but there's an LJ up here anyway.
Yeah, there is.
But here's gonna get some more water bombs, I know. Well, these things are pretty much our saving grace of a run. They are needed for our route. FX, luckily, he's not gonna have to carry. This man's free. He doesn't need more bombs. He's got that Zora armor. Special grade stuff, you know? Out here, Dean and the rest of them, they're gonna need those water bombs. That's basically their air. It's like an oxygen chain out there in the water. He's gonna do... Unfortunate. Does he know the backup? He should. Dean, I believe. Dean, I have faith. You can still save most of this.
There's like a billion ways to go about this. I thought he was gonna do Vine Clip. Too bad.
I was very sure he was going to do Vine Clip. I know he knows it, but it's probably been a long time since he's done Vine Clip, and unfortunately, he probably does not want to go test his luck right now.
Yep, and Vine Clip is hard. Don't be fooled, Vine Clip is not that easy. Alright, so this boss key skip is the only boss key skip in the entirety of TP, by the way, and that's for a single reason. All boss key doors, except for the one in Lakebed, are actually tied to the loading zone. That's the reason why we can clip into the boss room here in Lakebed, which is separate, and skip the boss key. That Tektite is a jerk.
He does this all the time, man. This is how that's how you ruin your day.
Oh no, Dean.
I'm sorry, Dean. I know what's happening right now, and unfortunately, all I can say is I'm sorry, Dean.
There's the Vine Clip attempt. Oh no, Dean. Okay, Bruggles is now pulled ahead.
Bruggles is actually slamming it too, and he's gonna get new Lakebed version. Good stuff. Boom, instantly in. Look at my boy Bruggles go. Good stuff.
Okay, so Dean actually decided it's not worth it to waste any more bombs, and for good reason, because bombs are really tight in TP. You need to be careful with your bombs.
There's a set.
Yeah, go for it.
There's a setup for Vine Clip that's extremely free. Like it's randomly like the freest thing where you'll like automatically get it. But I don't think Dean remembers the timing. It's very specific towards like the pillar where you start running. And wait, what were you saying before? Going into the fight for Bruggles. So you're gonna go down in this Morpher fight. This fight is literally completely designed for you to be doing it with Zor armor. We're gonna skip that with Water Bomb. So right here after that first phase, once you get all the way down, as you see, Dean's water is gonna go all the way down. But once he hits that cutscene, he's going to be able to breathe. Good job, Dean, on getting the boss key skip. Good stuff. Bruggles right now. The first cutscene does refill your air. This cutscene oddly does not refill your air. Wild game, TP. After this too, so that's why we take out that bomb right before we go into this cutscene, so that after this we are able to refill our air after a little bit. As you see, the bar is already still going down like it does. You keep the air that you have from first phase, and we're gonna hope for RNG with her.
This is one more RNG. He's not going for it. Okay.
He's not going for it. It was a very, very rough one bomb RNG right there. So we're going to do that trick that we said with Rocket Link, where he's going to force unequip Iron Boots while taking out the bomb so he can swim with it and refill his air each time. He needs to get 3 hits on more fuel so that he can kill off more fuel before this. Also, Bruggles is in the lead by a good, 25 seconds. That's pretty on. That's really on par there, Trez. That's pretty good.
And Bruggles getting the 2 bomb. Nice.
Nice. That is a very safe and happy more fuel. Now, dying to this guy eats up 2 minutes, 3 minutes easily. Just devours your time. Well, it's more than that. It's probably 4 minutes half the time?
4.5, yeah. 4.5. It's crazy. That's a gigantic time loss. And you also lose the bombs, which is basically the worst part about it. But yeah, this fight wouldn't be possible without so many things that are here clicking together. Oh, and poor Dean getting sucked in. This is gonna be rough. The water bomb thing to replenish the air, check. The first cutscene replenishing your air, check. The fact that we can force us off Morpheus back or forcing the Iron Boots off, check. All these things work together to make this fight basically barely possible, and it's crazy. Also, Dean is getting shed on by RNG right now.
Yeah, he needs a blessing in disguise right now. He needs this regrab right now. If he does not get this, he's gonna be rough. Okay, he's on, and it looks like he's okay. So if you he almost died there to the other way. He almost actually died.
But yeah, GG.
Now, what's crazy here is FX is going to be a gamer, and he's not going to stress anything about this. This doesn't matter to him. None of these rules apply. He's going to get 0 bomb. He uses none of them.
But yeah, Morpheus fight is really stressful. It's also one of the biggest run killers due to a high amount of RNG that can mess it up if you want to go fast. There's really a case where it's impossible to fight Morphle, but it can be such a gigantic time sink that it will just mess you up and take too many bombs. And sometimes Morphle actually throws you off in a way that just makes it basically impossible.
You can always adjust to your Morphle. As we see in very, very good players, you can adjust to it. Will you always be a good Morphle? Of a word, people are good enough to adapt. It's just not going to be worth it. Because there's times you can make it work with 5 bombs, right? But it's just going to start getting less and less worth it. You're bleeding so much time off of it.
Hey, Tom. You've been here for a while, I believe, but now is a good moment.
Alright. Well, hopefully before Forge leaves, it's their donation. So we got a $30 donation from Fantasy Forge, so it's good luck to the runners. Get that 32 FX.
Thank you so much, Forge.
Thank you so much for the donation.
Alrighty, so MDH, again, you can see the dash canceling here, right here, doing on Bruggle's end. And FX is now doing the Morphle fight in the absolutely not stressful edition. Also, Ethernet Boys, by the way, just quickly, Ethernet Boys doing the old Snow Peak route.
That's crazy. Ether knows the new route. That's crazy. I think he just wants to show off. Yeah, that's the old route that we used to do. Involves some LJAs that are kind of more risky. Everyone quotes them as RNG, but it's just more human RNG towards it. It can be quite annoying to deal with. It's hard to always be correct, like always precise. Also, as you see in FX, his Morphle fight's a little bit brighter. Like the room's a bit more lit, and that's actually because the Zora armor makes it brighter. Like doesn't it actually have like a light that comes off a Link or something like that? That lights up the water or whatever, the area around him.
My idea was that Link can just see better underwater when you have the Zora armor.
Yeah, that's the idea that they have. I just mean the way they implement it, I think, is the fact that it's just like they put light around him.
Yep. All right, so Midna's Lament playing for Bruggles here and for Dean. Midna's Desperate Hour is basically a really short segment just full of movement tech without glitches. Where you can just make up a bit of time through movement. Also, Ethernet Boy struggling hardcore with the Darkhammer fight. And if you don't have the normal strat, this is really hard. Like, casually, this fight is stupid hard. Oh, go for it.
That sucks. I think JD's not being shown right now, but JD got cat glitch. Aww. Unfortunately. That won't be shown. So there's a very precise glitch that you can get, which involves a very tight kind of B press here. This cutscene that you're watching Dean watch right now, you can get it so that the camera's really whack and won't pan out, and you save time. You save about 2 seconds on the time the camera would do the pan out. Conversation still handles the same, but you do save time.
Yep.
It's a glitch that you'll just shoot for every single run, because it doesn't lose you time to go for it, but you don't stress trying to get it.
Also, damn, JD made up a lot of time after missing Gorgeroid. Really back on track and neck. Basically, Dean, Bruggles, and JD are within like 40 seconds.
JD is very good at being consistent in some portions of this game, and his late game is very, very good. All these runners every runner kind of is good at certain sections. They have sections that they enjoy the most, or sections that they have a lot of pride in. For a lot of people, late game, and actually it's going to be quite fun to watch everyone's late game. Late game is definitely more precise movement based, precise aim based, and people can start making up this thing that others refer to as phantom time, just based off of movement, good rolls, good aim, and it's going to become more and more apparent in each of the dungeons we're about to be entering. One bomb, maybe. Oh, Ether is going to go for it. If you guys would like to put on Ether for a little bit over JD or someone real quick, just so that we can watch him attempt one bomb, because more than likely he will go for it. Nice, let's go. I wish you good luck, Ether, in your endeavor to go get one bomb.
Indeed. All right, JD actually getting wrecked by the archer.
Oh my
god.
oh my goodness, JD, you're absolutely getting slammed by this archer.
Yeah. Oh, again, and he dies. Oh my god, I haven't seen that in forever.
That was a brutal death. Midna fell off of him. He fell into the water. Midna fell back onto him in the water. Like, damn.
Yeah, and that archer actually needs to be killed, by the way, else he will snipe you out of the air on the top of the hall.
He's auto aim. He hacks.
Yeah.
That's all it is. He just hacks.
Also, Bruggles here going for a quick wind cycle where you need to have really precise movement to get onto the bridge right before it claps back down, and barely got it in this case. Actually had a few frames left to get over it, so made the faster wind cycle, saving 12 seconds there. And now Ether, we'll see if they try to get one up here.
Ether also just showed that he did the older route for Lakebed Temple. So Lakebed Temple currently has two versions that people do it, which saves time, or one of them saves time over the other. One is just considered harder. And Ether to showcase the old boss ski skip. The new boss ski skip is very similar, but just a little tad bit different.
Yep.
Adding an extra backflip with the iron boots, and then a side walk over to the right.
Also, Bruggles just now getting the ending blow from... Oh no! Ether getting trolled by the eye, barely gets it before it goes back in. So if the eye goes back in to Morphill's mouth before you double hit it or give it a jump attack or spin attack, Morphill will go into a different phase, and that's really problematic if you don't have Zora armor. Alright, let's see if the one bomb RNG plays along. So for one bomb to be an option, Morphill needs to basically swim straight up after cutscene and towards you, because you basically need to be on Morphill's back as your air bar returns. Also, keep an eye on JD, because JD we managed to get the incentive to break Link's bones, and that's happening right now.
Thank goodness.
Welcome to Link's bones being broken on JD's end. That's the incentive that you paid for.
Oh, Ether, that's so sad. He got literally forced out of the RNG. He can't.
Oh, too bad.
One bomb, unfortunately, is very RNG intensive, and how more fuel churns after the grab is a little bit not up to you. Unfortunately, she told him no.
Yeah. Alright, so here you can see on JD's screen, Link is kind of screwed. But yeah, we're not supposed to have the Master Sword right now, so the game is thinking, okay, you must be Wolf, but you're actually human. So the cutscene is applying Link's human textures, which are currently loaded, to the body shape of Wolf. And that kind of doesn't work. Or it does work, but in spectacular fashion. So that's what's happening here right now.
I mean, hey, most games would just crash. TP somehow just makes a new cutscene out of the old one, you know? And that's pretty interesting that we ever got a game like that.
And I think JD is also gonna go for the second cutscene, which also looks really fun. There's some more cutscenes that look like this. That look like this when you're human and should be Wolf. The worst one, or one of the worst ones, probably being the cutscene in Any Percent No Save It Quit, where you tame Epona.
Yeah, taming Epona is a bit awkward. Wolfling riding Epona makes the game really spaz out. And it is not like... Well, it's not only just a cutscene, it's also gameplay. Because technically, when taming Epona, you're also still bugging like crazy. The game basically stretches the textures of Wolfling across the map, and it looks extremely awkward. A lot of flashing, a lot of lights. Probably looks like he's suffering though, on with Midna just sitting on his back.
All right. Also, we're gonna get some lore action on JD's side now, because Hyrule Castle is now in a double pyramid, I guess. So we not gonna be able to go back here. This is called the barrier. So if we would be able to clip through this barrier, Twilight Princess would be a lot, and I mean a lot shorter. But yeah, not happening so far. All right, Bruggles now in the desert, currently ahead of Dean and JD. And here again, we just roll the camera up to prevent some lag in the desert. Actually saves 3 seconds by just tilting the camera up. Here we can just basically clip. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's vital. It's crazy how much this game lags and how much time you can lose in just frames being lost to lag from it. So like a lot of these times when the camera's gonna be down, it's almost always gonna be lag reduction. And like us staring into walls, us looking at random things, it's usually just lag reduction, or just really having an off day. You can definitely see it more in stuff like the ending fights with Ganon, Beast Ganon for sure, in the laggiest areas in the game. Over here, we have Bruggle has already activated map glitch. He's going to hop up onto a sledge and do a decently precise setup so he can LJA over onto this background, and then he's going to go over here. And luckily, low or like triggers for fights and stuff like that, they go infinitely down, infinitely up, pretty much. Well, not infinitely, but an insane amount. And he ends up hitting it while he's going down into the world. And it's taken all the way back up here.
By the way, just to comment something on Turkenheimer, what Turkenheimer said, because that's actually a legit idea. It sadly doesn't work that way. While most TP runners play on Wii, it doesn't influence lag or frame rate or loading times, because the Wii is actually basically underclocking, undervolting, or only using one core actually, or half a core, during GameCube playback. So basically it acts as a GameCube while playing GameCube games. So both read speeds and clock speeds are the same. So it's the same speed. And yeah, Mini, the cutscene has its own custom animations and movement animations that are not used in any other cutscene. And they are just enforced here, no matter the model, and the wrong textures are loaded. Hey Keaton, Chad loves you.
Let's go! Hey, it's dope! We got lots of representatives from every side of the Zelda community. We all come here to celebrate our good times. Thank you, chat. Thank you.
Alright, now we're in Arbitor's Grounds, and Arbitor's Grounds is a weird mix out of really insane and really fun tricks, and kinda the time in the run where... How do I put it? Where fatigue kicks in? Where it's getting a little rough to stay focused? Oh, poor JD missing the jump.
I feel like it's definitely depends on the runner. I feel like some people will feel a lot more focused once they've hit here, because this is where they take run serious. If you're on a real run, if you are on a pacer or one that you definitely think like, oh, this could be my PB here, this is where people get really tense. There's a lot of stuff coming up, and there's a lot of risky decisions you can make here in this dungeon. We do have new movement that unfortunately Zekling is not here to showcase off. There's a lot of things with brake sliding that looks extremely cool, and movement, and some cool movement that has been tested for a while and people are starting to finally implement in, like Marco did before he left, and we definitely see Zach Wing still doing it. We're gonna see a big trick in here known as Def Sword Skip. Def Sword Skip is very precise, was thought of to be a task trick for a long time, and finally we were like, you know, we're better, we're gonna keep trying. And we've made it so that humans can do it now too. But that doesn't make it any easier. It's still pretty brutal in terms of being precision precise, and very frame tight. And also the boss is sometimes kind of just a jerk.
Alright, so here, we're trying to skip one of the poles that you need to get. You need to get 4 poles in this area to get out and towards the boss key area. But the first pole is just not checked by the game. So we can skip it, and we do this by this really precise pillar jump that by now has a almost free setup. And back in the day, this was one of the hardest tricks in the game. Nowadays, it's almost free.
So you're talking about the backflip slide method? That garbage? Oh my god, that thing is a nightmare.
For example, yeah, or the really old one where you had to manipulate one of the worms.
Oh, don't tell me you had worm manipulation. That sounds like an even more nightmare.
Yeah, you basically had to push one of the worms up on the ledge on the right side, and then enemy LJA towards it. And then
man, we got people complaining about wolf. We got people complaining about Wolfo jump. Let's go.
Yep.
At that point, that would be in the same field as that.
All right, Dean getting Pole skip here as well right now. Yes, this is basically fairly free right now. So Brugos is in a Pole 4 fight, and this Pole 4 fight is actually a little RNG heavy. However, there is some RNG manipulation to at least influence the second fight. Oh boy, Brugos has terrible RNG here though for the first phase. So depending on which pole lights up, there's a certain movement that you can do to instantly trigger fast turning of the poles again. Oh boy, and yeah, he got... Oh, what the heck?
Oh man.
Okay, so Brugos got...
The worst imaginable you could just have. Well, he responded to... Well, the spin attack was definitely a little bit early, but that's understandable. It's a little hard. This is a strat that Dean, Zach, and I tested out by moving the pose over here to the front. I know Dean was the psychopath who really wanted to see this happen. And Zach kind of just like perfected this kind of stuff. He went for a really early knockdown on it, but unfortunately did not get the good RNG for it.
Alright,
First
FX
pro
having
down.
some trouble clipping through the fence. Really important, and some new runners never get the hang of it. You're not clipping the fence there, you're clipping the wall. And that kind of helps when you're thinking about it and learning it first.
It's really weird. So for that clip there too, it's gonna be like you move to you come in at it like kind of with a right angle, you move to a left angle and then back to a right angle, and that's how you clip through as Wolf. As Human Link, it's a bit different because of the rolls that you'll be doing. But most commonly, people will learn it as Wolf because it's not that they're fairly easy, both of them.
Alright, so as you can see, the one torch lit up, but we basically still skipped the first pole. This is the only reason why we need to learn the pole send during Midna's Desperate Hour, because else you just cannot get this chain up here to get into this, or towards the staircase. And now we're getting 2 more poles, and then we can move on in Arbiter's Grants. Also,
nice.
is on 270 rupees, so good on
Dean
rupees here.
skipping the red ruby chest, doing the cool movement there. Let's go, Dean.
Actually, I haven't seen it, sadly. Too bad.
With that movement?
Yeah.
It's just a couple hops, but it's pretty cool.
Yep.
What's Burgle's at? You know, he's at the money where he could do it.
Yeah, I mean, he just got the,
Well, he got red ruby chest. I'm crazy.
Yeah, he got red rupee chest, and he just got the rupee.
Yeah,
from
he just got the other one. I'm crazy. I was...
From the red.
Oof.
All right. By the way, by now the routes of all the runners actually basically match up with 2 small differences. Dean has the option for a different rupee route. FX has the option for a different rupee route, and we will get the silver rupee right before sitting this guy. And he will have the Zora armor for the Zan fight in Palace of Twilight. But besides that, it's the same thing between all the routes now. Who's ping me? Shooting me. All right, so I am actually gonna take this from here and take it for the rest, because Keaton gets his well-deserved sleep. It's insanely late for them, so and they stayed up.
It's kind of a thing of I work really, really early mornings, and so like I get off like 4 hours ago.
Oh boy.
And so this is when I'd be asleep, like really head asleep.
Yeah.
You guys have an amazing rest of the run. I believe in you all. Good luck to all the runners. Dean, JD, Bruggles, FX. Love you guys. And Ether. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Keaton. Take it easy. Alright, so you're stuck with me for the rest, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to be good for you and do the best for you. So here, Dean did a little manipulation to get the readouts fast and get the chain here. And he is also getting his last red rupee here to exactly get to 300 rupees. And he will also get his final pole soul here to have it all wrapped up. The stealth falls are a little annoying and can cancel your animation, but Dean got a little lucky here. So he's now set. Bruggles is also set. 300 rupees. Actually, looking at the rupee count of FX, he doesn't need to get the silver rupee at all. He's at 277, so there's no reason for him to get the silver rupee. Alright, so here we just, on Bruggles' side, clip through the pillar on the right side to actually get to the boss key early, to skip a lot of shenanigans that Elsie would have to do. And there's just no reason for it, so we just do this quick clip. Bruggles really clean movement here. That's a new strat that we haven't done so far, and it's really clean looking and fast. Really nice movement there. Not my username this. Not my usernames this. I am a pumpkin because it's spooky month. And that's it. And in this pumpkin, I have Midna. Best waifu, as I said. Alright, here we're gonna get rid of the enemies by using 2 bombs. Really clean manipulation there as well, Bruggles. Getting hit by the bomb, which is a little unfortunate, but not a big deal. Here, let's see what movement he's going for. Okay, he's going for the normal claw shot strat. There is a break slide strat. We actually haven't talked that much about break sliding, but it's a method of movement that is really interesting. It's basically a sliding movement, and it's done by holding ESS position and doing something else. And it's not that old. It's also something that was found in TP not that long ago. TP sadly didn't have that many new discoveries in the last few years, but I'm gonna address that in a little bit. Alright, Bruggles. Death Sword fight. There's actually 2 ways to handle this. There's a way to skip Death Sword. which doesn't save a ton of time, and is really hard and also a little bit RNG dependent, but also can be really cool, and Brugels is going for it. So he's trying to skip Death Sword. So you actually get into this corner, let Death Sword get in position and hit the floor, and now you're using an area charge from Midna to basically do a long jump, and let's see if Brugels gets it. The position looks fine. Oh no, he barely missed it. Actually, there was quite a bit of missing here. And let's see if he tries it again. And that's sadly a somewhat big time sink. He's gonna go for it again. Let's see if he gets it this time. Actually, I'm gonna skip to Brugels' audio as he is ahead. Let's see if he gets it this time. Again, gets in position. That's what is flying up. Oh no, too bad, didn't get it. And this is Dean's chance to actually take the lead again. We'll see what he does. Brugels trying it again. And Dean is actually going for the fight. So Dean is going for the ball and chain to get a lot of damage in, and now he's just stabbing double combos, because as long as you don't do a full combo, that's what is not getting up. Oh, and Brugels sadly misses again. But yeah, Dean can just prolong hitting that sword for as long as he doesn't finish a full combo. And he used that to get rid of that sword fairly quickly and go into the lead. This sword skip is a really two-edged sword. It's a really hard run, and it's not easy, and a really hard trick, not easy, high risk, and not that big a reward. And this time Brugels get it. It's still really cool. And both get the Beyblade, the spinner, that is not that useful, but here we can use it a lot. So basically neck and neck between Dean and Brugels. Also, something quickly, we just save up here, by the way, to get back to the start of the dungeon, because it's quicker. Many people consider Twilight Princess to be a not heavily glitched game, and less glitchy than, for example, its companions, Scarlet Sword and the Wind Waker. But if you learned anything from the past 1 hour and 56 minutes, is that TP is really, really glitch heavy, and that it skips a ton, and maybe even has more glitches than both Wind Waker and Scarlet Sword. The only difference is TP has many, many glitches, but not this one gigantic glitch that makes the games, for example, in case of Wind Waker and Scarlet Sword, so insanely broken. Because there is, for example, storage in Wind Waker and also barrier skip. There's bit magic, a reverse bit magic in Scarlet Sword, and these are just insanely big glitches that TP just doesn't have, or that we didn't find yet. So it's a common misconception just because TP is a little longer, but as you can see, that the run is full of insanely cool glitches and a lot of skips. Like, we skip so many dungeons. We do not enter some dungeons at all. We barely skip any dungeon. That's quite something. But yeah, we never enter Goron Mines and Temple of Time, for example, in this route. We only do Forest Temple and Snow Peak until the dungeon item. All that kind of stuff. Alright. Time for a Stalloid for both Dean and Brugels. Note, there is a Stalloid skip. Yes, and it's a big skip. It saves minutes. However, it hasn't ever been done RTA in a run setting. It has been done RTA. But it's so insanely hard. It basically requires you to take these little minions that spawn up that you can pull towards you under certain circumstances with the claw shot, and get it towards one of the gates, and then use a bomb to get knocked off in a certain moment with the boomerang, with the claw shot, to basically clip it to the wall and then flip outside. It does work. And one person has done it non-task before. I think two people actually have done it by now, not in non-task, but not in a run setting. and it's just insanely hard. So we just do it the old-fashioned way, and actually Burkles went ahead again because Dean is having a terrible first phase. I'm not entirely sure. I think that Samu did it. That Samu did it once. But yeah, Dean got wrecked, and is still getting wrecked by ZeldaSpeedRuns. That was the first raid anyways, and now he's going to the second phase, Burgles. There's a little trick in the second phase, a little glitch that we can use, which is the early knockdown. So usually in the second phase, you're supposed to get on the spinner and then right around the pillar. Just constantly around the pillar and knock ZeldaSpeedRuns down. But if you do a certain setup and steps and rolls at the beginning and are in a certain position when you pull the spinner, you will be right beside ZeldaSpeedRuns and skip all that stuff. And there's a good audio cue for it. So Burgles is gonna do 5 rolls, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 steps, and then get on the spinner, and he's gonna be right beside ZeldaSpeedRuns. Knock him down, and then it's just chaining quick spins until ZeldaSpeedRuns is dead. And that's it.
Hi, Trez.
Hey, Tom. Oh,
Time for a
wow!
donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. So, Vamilia gives us a $7 donation. Says, let's get JotWaD. I took the odd amount, now we just need a $5 trade. Less than 3. Which is, yep, we need 10 people who want to donate $5 and we'll get that. That's where we are. We're at $50 to go to the incentive. It's right after this. You got about an hour to get there. So anybody who can, consider donating that $5. Get us there.
Also, is another donation that just came in. Not sure if you saw it. Actually, if it's okay, I'm gonna talk about it. There's a $500 donation from the Scrubs Central community, which is a side community for newcomers in the Ocarina of Time randomizer community. What a generous donation, folks. Thank you so much for that generous donation towards the Pank 1 Foundation. And that actually unlocked the JotWaD incentive for TP. It unlocked Zelda 64 Dawn and Dusk, unless we already had that before, I'm not entirely sure. And it unlocked Resurrection of Ganon 100%, no major glitches. So all our bonus runs have been met. Thank you so much, Scrubs. That puts us at $7,700. Insane. Thank you.
We did have the middle one of those already done, and Mimbus killed that one towards the end of the Spirit Tracks.
Alright. Back to TP. So just here, you just saw Burgles actually zoomed into the map. And that's the only way to be able to teleport. And the reason why we need map warp here to actually proceed. There's another way, but that's not RTA variable. Because that's the only way to warp, because there's a bug in the game that Nintendo didn't see. Else, Midna forces you to stay to check out the Shadow Mirror, which we can't really do anything yet with. So this is our way to prevent a soft lock. Also, just quickly, let me quickly talk. No, first let's go over this trick here. So Burgles is clipping inside his statue right now by turning into wolf and just clipping through. This little skip right there saved over an hour. It doesn't look like much, but it's the biggest skip in the entirety of Twilight Princess. This is early City in the Sky, and it skips the entirety of Temple of Time, and it skips the entire Ancient Skybook quest. And that's just over 1 hour. That's just in the speedrunning setting. That's just shaved off of the game. Just that one tiny clip right there. Kind of insane, but that's how it works. Also, because FX is currently not on a specific route, let's actually bring back Ethernet for a while just so we can check it out. Alright, so this is where we used the 300 rupees on Burgle's side just now to repair this cannon, because fire is a boss and he owns, and now this cannon is super imbalanced. Could take over the world. It could. It doesn't. It could, however. Let me quickly prepare something here on the tracker. Gonna be right with you again. Give me one moment. Alright, we should be good. And yeah, now we're in City in the Sky. And City in the Sky is a glitch fest for the boomerang, where we can do a lot and many long jump attacks with the boomerang. And that was the first one. So here, Brookles is actually approaching the door slowly and then turning into wolf instantly while approaching the door. And that will skip a trigger, and that trigger will turn on the fan on top of this room. That trigger will prevent us usually from getting to the boss key. But since we skip that trigger by being really, really careful with approaching the door, we can get the boss key early. Alright. So as you can see, Isa is still in the middle of Arbiter's Grounds, not having the greatest run today, but fighting hard right on this track to get to Death Sword. And wait, oh, okay, JD warped. JD warped without getting the cannon with him. Okay, that's unfortunate. That's a kind of big time loss, actually. Too bad. Alright, Brookles here getting the small key. Getting this small key, by the way, it's kind of funny. It sets the spawn point in case of a death for Link to this chest, which is something we're gonna abuse later. Alright, here Brookles actually jumped over a trigger that will be the Argorok cutscene. So Argorok is flying through and killing the bridge, and we can actually jump over it with the trick that Brookles just did. Saving time and also preventing the spawn point to be set back to the beginning of the dungeon again, which again, in itself, saves us some time. And yeah, Brookles now checking out the bridge here, or like pushing out the bridge here. And when we have a moment, I'm actually gonna recite the ultimate Twilight Princess JotWaD poem, which we got back in the day for our JotWaD pass that Gymnast86 did. Just because we met the incentive and gonna have this right after this run is done. So again, Bruggel's here doing another LJA using the boomerang to get over this hole in the ground, and gonna do this again multiple times here in this room. Actually only doing it once. No tries actually. Okay, we're gonna do it twice. That was one that was through really fast without aiming as well. That's really quick. Alright, these two Denolfos. Oh, okay. Bruggel's actually messing up the movement, and these are rough. If you don't kill him at first try, they are actually a force to be reckoned with. He did fix it well, but yeah, this is kind of rough. Getting up there. And now we're gonna go towards Arialfos. Here, next up, we're gonna grab one of these man chicken or ukus. And gonna get up on this ledge here. You see, this is not intended. And then we use this uku to jump over, and we barely make it to this ledge. And this skips getting all the wind things up and like taking the switches, and it just saves a bit of time. And now we got down here, and now it's time for Arialfos. So, this is a really specific fight. You can fight him, and with the ball and chain, you can actually do a one cycle as well. If it's worth it, because there's a way to skip the fight, and you will see what I talk about when Brugel falls down through this hole, or already did. He got a quick fall down. And now he's gonna do a quick setup with like one roll back with iron boots, one roll forward without iron boots, and now he's gonna aim with the claw shot. And there's one pixel in this gate. We'll see if he gets. You saw it quickly there. Oh! And that was like half a second late. Poor Brugels can set up or reset this fight quickly. But yeah, you saw it. There's one pixel that you can reach from this specific position that allows you to just clip through the gate behind gate. And then into the room with the double claw shot. Let's see if we get it this time, Brugels. Nope. Blocking this time to not take any damage. Getting a heart. And this is unfortunate. And that actually made it so Dean can catch up right now. If Brugels doesn't get it right now. We saw it again quickly, that target. Oh! Yeah, now we got it. Alright. Brugels got it, and we got in, and we skipped Arialfos. In this case, due to this two fails, getting the fight as a one cycle with the ball and chain would have been faster, as it only loses like 30 seconds. But you obviously cannot bank on it. Also, that one cycle is really hard. It's not easy to get it. So, yeah. Alrighty. Brugels now safe warping and getting back to the small key chest, as I said. Now equipped with the double claw shot. And usually now comes the time for this best section of TP, in my opinion, which is the double claw shot room in City in the Sky. However, sadly, or not sadly because it saves time, we skip it. Since we didn't activate the fan when we entered City in the Sky, we can now just go back to the main hall, go through the window because it's faster. And then just get up these vines and through the not running fan, which is supposed to be running, because you're supposed to disable it later, and just get up here. And that's around, I believe, 70 seconds time save, 90 seconds time save, I'm not entirely sure. Has been found years ago by the one person that has done as much for Twilight Princess as basically nobody else, which is the co-admin of Zelda Speedruns, Mr. Dragonbane himself. Dragonbane started as a glitch hunter for Twilight Princess and basically found probably like 70% of all modern strats, including stuff like the setup for Rupee Roll, many setups, many glitches, Master Sword in 100%, so many things, early Master Sword in 100%, so many things that just nobody would have thought would have been possible, created, practice tools, all this kind of stuff, and he is a big person in the TP community. Alright. JD sadly slipping off there in the fan room, but that's okay. And Brugel's now doing something that we can do. We can skip past these fans here without turning them on. You can use the claw shot, and if you aim all the way to the top of these, you can actually grab the top. And now we're gonna get like the coolest, sickest double jump attack in the entire round these days, which is a really cool double jump attack. It looks scary. Oh no! I haven't seen somebody miss that in, sorry, Brugels, in actual years. That jump attack is usually just perfectly free if you just line it up properly. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I haven't seen that in a long time. Because basically, there's no real timing to it. You just need to do your targets properly. And this time he gets it. No problem. You land on the fence. It does look scary, but it's all fine. And now we are here in this gigantic fan room, and these fan strats, they depend on accuracy while aiming and good movement. So you need to get down from the fans as fast as possible, and you need to be quick with the fans, because else you're gonna miss a cycle. You don't want to miss a cycle. And that cycle you don't want to miss is right here. You get up here and now instantly aim back up here, and Brugels gets this easily. Really clean fan tower from Brugels. And we're up to Argorog, which is one of the most, or at least more technical fights in the entire game. Boss fights in the entire game, I should say. And, oh wow, Brugels actually voided out. And one heart is a bit scary, although you shouldn't be hit in the Argorog fight, so you should be fine. It's a little scary, so now we get into Argorog. Argorog consists out of 3 phases. The first phase is just Argorog flying around. We're gonna go towards this pillar. There's also health here, so that's fine. And we're gonna quickly knock down Argorog by pulling on his tail twice. Usually that's supposed to be 2 phases, but if you are quick with your aiming, you can get it in 1 cycle. So 1, and now as soon as Argorog throws you off, you just instantly need to quickly aim back up again, and you're gonna get the 2nd cycle. Which is important. You get up here to get a bit of height, and then you aim for the tail, and that's really simple. Of course, there's always the option of tanking it, but hey, didn't happen this time. Also, let me quickly swap out Ethernet Boys again for FX, so we can see where FX is hanging out. And FX is also in City in the Sky. Up close after the double claw shot. So finished area alphas already. And back to Bruggles. Dean right on his tail, actually in the first phase as well. So Bruggles is now just gonna void out to reset Agorok's position. Because else Agorok will fly around for a while. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And now, this is basically third phase already. So now we need to knock down Agorok 3 times and stab him in the air. For that, we get up on top of the pillars. Agorok is gonna shoot flames at us, and we can flame skip. The flame skips are the same for the first 2 phases, so as soon as you hear him scream, you get up on one of these P-heads and drop down, and then wait for the fire to be above you, then go 3 P-heads wide, and you're gonna be behind Agorok, who instantly stops the flame when you go too far down. And that's part 1. And now the same thing, exactly the same thing again. Again, flame skip, and back onto Bruggles' back. And now third phase, and then during the cutscene I'm gonna recite the JotWaD poem that people asked for. Alright, third cycle is a little different. Agorok suddenly got clever, really clever, and actually has a different strategy for the flame skip. We gotta do it differently. Again, we're gonna get up on the P-head again, but we instantly gonna go to the third P-head, and now we're gonna sink down to the fourth, sorry. And now we're gonna sink down and wait for the flame to pass the P-head right next to us. Then we're gonna sink down, and now Agorok is turning around because he thinks he's clever, but hey, we are still in the same position. And now we can't finish him off. Thank you, Agorok. That's all for you. And here is the poem of JotWaD Twilight Princess. The JotWaD epic. Forgive me beforehand if my rhymes are terrible. I hope that by the end you find them at least bearable. If you choose to watch through, let me show you a story about the Twilight Princess JotWaD Speedrun meme category. Our story begins with rolls to the right, falling in a void, our first goal in sight. Odin Spring has the bridge over a void we seek, blocked by a gate, which thankfully is quite weak. We pick up a rock, then target and move to lock Link's angle on the upper control stick groove. With Link's angles now locked, we walk on straight, taking the shortest path as we approach the gate. Link will place the rock, then side up and bonk out, and flip into the void, silent with no shout. Link respawns at the start, the title screen of the game, for we reset and voided out on the exact same frame. But alas, we're not done, we must now kill our hero, so let's void out again and set his health to 0. Game over now appears, a vital piece in our success. So let's try for the retry, and then select yes. The lighting has now changed. It's wider than before, which means King Boblin is now here, atop his blue orb. A battle now ensues, and the king is undefended. So Link makes quick work, and now the battle has ended. With that quick fight, the first phase is done. A second now begins under the shimmering evening sun. Link charges forward, aggressive with his speed, but suddenly halts and turns around his steed. He unleashes a spin and strikes down the king, who lets out a roar and sits down while falling. The day has been saved and our hero has won. But our goal is to JotWaD, so we're not quite done. After skipping a cutscene with some epic slow zooms, we arrive in a village with which the Twilight consumes. Right now, our final goal is prevented by a glitch, so let's reload the village to fix this slight hitch. We arrive at a house in this Twilight disorder, choosing right door, not left, as the animation is shorter. Returning outside 3 beasts we must face, but there'll be no problem, this run is on pace. The first round is down with a quick spin of skill. We roll to the next 2 and then stand still. Now we must wait for the shadows to attack and cut us down to 1 heart before we fight back. With the trio struck down, a portal is restored. However, it's useless, so it will be ignored. What are we doing? A curious viewer would ask. I don't understand. What is your task? Well, my dear viewer, just wait and you'll see. I'll tell you in a minute what our task is to be. For now, let us enter this bomb shop right here. Very soon, I promise, the answer will be clear. In the bomb shop we go, up the stairs and around, to reach a small ladder and hear a shadow insect sound. The ladder leads out to a roof colored blue, when we'll turn around and let more rolling ensue. Up more stairs in the pass, we'll continue to roll up the brown switchbacks, almost at our goal. We can see it there now, the watchtower inside. This is where we'll end, if we do it right. We go through the door, entering from below, and are graced with more ladders, which, yes, are very slow. Going higher and higher, more ladders we climb, nearing the end, awaiting our final time. To exit the tower through another door we go, and see the camera out of bounds for a reason I don't know. And now we're here, our final destination, where see the purpose of this meme's creation. For where we are now is up very high, enough to jump off the watchtower and die. Thank you so much, Gymnast, for this amazing poem. It's just outstandingly describing the entire route of JotWaD, which we're gonna see very soon after this run, thanks to your all donations. And I mean, if somebody else wants to recite it later, perfectly fine. I won't do it again. Thank you so much for your donations. Alright, we are in the Palace of Twilight now, and this is the first Phantom Zen fight. So here, we can get a consistent pattern with the 3 cycle if we just do 1 slash and then 2 and then in the final phase 3 quick spins. And beforehand it's basically always the same thing. You fight a room, you get a key, you move on. You fight a key, you get a key, you move on. And that's done basically twice. Here, we actually grab the soul now. And now we go on our way back. There you just saw an L slide quickly. As you saw, Brugels aimed for the soul with the claw shot, and while the claw shot was traveling, he slid to the left. So that's a small trick to just optimize a tiny bit of time. Also nice, Brugels forgot the strat there, and threw the soul into position when he wasn't supposed to. But yeah, we need to bring the soul back to its intended location to get the butter sword, the light sword later.
Got time for a quick donation?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, we got a $25 donation. There we go. I can talk. From DRK Armin with no comment. Thank you for your donation.
Thank you so much. We're so close to $8,000. Maybe we can get this before the end of JotWaD. That would be absolutely amazing, folks. We're already way past ZSRM 2018, which is fantastic. But let's try to make it 5 digits. That would be so amazing. ZSR would make such a difference. And no, not actually ZSR. You all would make the big difference if we made it to 5 digits. And ZSR will do its share, and I hope you're all gonna be part of it so we can make it to 5 digits. The most successful ZSR event of all time was actually OT Rando against Cancer, which was done last year. and that reached, don't let me lie, I can tell you exactly, that reached $10,597. So if we reach that, that would be an insanely great thing. All right. Brugel's bringing back the first soul.
Since you got a moment and you're not talking, how about I tell people what they can actually, put in for incentive things?
Sure, go for it.
So now that we've hit both the bonus games, thanks to the Scrub Central Network, you might be asking yourself, hey, what's left to, put money towards that we can get done? Well, there's still one incentive left. Well, two technically, but this is the big one. There's an $1,800 incentive for tomorrow morning's Majora's Mask 100% run. And it's to do Majora blindfolded. I mean, I don't need to say anything else. Majora blindfolded. So that's what you want to kind of throw your money at if you want to donate. Definitely a good cause, good watch. It's definitely going to be fun to watch. If that made any sense. I think I'm getting tired. Trez can't sleep, so that's a problem in his own thing.
You can, so you should. That's also a Fire Name incentive, by the way. If you want to name the character for Dope's Majora's Mask run, you can get a bit in there. All right, so Brugel's now on his way to get the second of the souls, while the others are trying to catch up. These rooms are quite a bit harder, but it's still with the correct straps. It's not too hard to get here. But Petals of Twilight is not glitch heavy. It's all about the movement optimization. Here you actually want to get as many doubles in as you can on the Zen head, and he did that perfectly. Now we're trying to get up on this target before the cutscene triggers. All great. That's how it should be. Oh, having a bit of trouble with the closure target there, but it's all fine. Alright, and now second is Phantom Zen find here. Same strat as before. By the way, Sangor, it's not double Majora blindfolded run, just Majora blindfolded. Like the Majora fight at the end boss of Majora's Mask will be done by Dope wearing a blindfold if we reach that incentive, which is insanely high. All right. Alright, another elf light here, and now we have the second soul in hand. Everybody here in Petals of Twilight. Not that much to do. Not that much to go. Before we're gonna make it to the final boss of Petals of Twilight, which is Zend. And Brugel's actually maintaining his lead fairly well right now. Now basically almost at the end of the entire soul sequence. First place right now is Brugels, Tentagoose. Ahead of Dean Machine, ahead of JD Link Master, ahead of Definitely Not FX, and then the final runner, which is currently not on stream, is the Ethernet Boys. Alright, we now have the light sword. So it's time to see where this is going. Now Brugels can actually go into the center of the Petals of Twilight and show off some cool stuff there. That is a little different. Like, the beginning of the Petals of Twilight is really all the same, just a little different. No major differences. But now, there's a little different room layout. Alright, first ball here thrown into the hole, second one as well. You can easily miss those, and that's kind of annoying. Oh, JD, now you're actually trying to cheat your way to the win. Okay. Wow. But yeah, JD did watch the cutscene, so he is technically at least in second place, I believe. But Brugels is ahead. There was sadly some miscommunication, and both Brugels and Dean forgot to do the incentive that we did to watch the Midna Desperate Hour cutscene as human, so it's a little different from the standings. But hey, we're here for the charity, not for the overly competitive aspect. So that's all good. Alright, Brugels making this LJA, which is really scary, by the way. That LJA only saves a second, and if you miss it, it costs like 28. Nah, you're obviously right, JD. Of course you are. So now this room is a lot of optimization as well. There's two ways to go about it. You can first get the Zend head on the right side, or you can first get the boss key. This is the little bit faster version, called the Mofall. You get the Zend head over there first, and you need to kill all the Zend heads obviously to get the small key at the end. So you kill this, and you need to be a little slow. You need to wait a little before you jump, because the Zend head needs to be dead before you void out. Else you're gonna have to do it again, which is a big time loss. And now all the other Zend heads spawn. You use the light sword to reveal this this clawshot target up there, because you don't need to jump through. You can just go faster. It's all fine. And now we get the big key to, ladies and gentlemen, the Petals of Twilight. Jumping down goes fast again, also used to get a double kill. And you can get all three if you're really fast. Brugels sadly missing the final hit there. Spawning right in front, or the Zend head spawned right in front of you. Getting the final three, and that's it for this room. Now we're getting the small key. And that's it. So, biggest mistake for everybody. Brugels had a lot of trouble with the... No, wait. Dean had a lot of trouble with the boss key skip in Lakebed. Brugels didn't have... No, wait. Brugels' biggest mistake I'm not entirely sure about right now. JD missed Gorge Void. Ethernet has quite a few problems. FX as well missed Sword and Shield skip twice. I'm not entirely sure if Brugels had any major mistakes right now. He had a few sloppy things here and there. Alright, early platform cycle here for Brugels. Wondering if he actually goes for it. He does it definitely without any LJAs. Oh yeah, FX also missed Epona slide once. So Brugels not going for early platform. There is an early platform cycle that you can make, which is saving 12 seconds, where you can just be here and get on this platform 1 cycle earlier. But it requires really precise movement in this room. Bad spawn of the Xanthead. Not a big deal, but just sometimes a little scary. Alright. And now, final LJA of this dungeon to get over there, just to save a little bit of time. And now it's gonna be just a few Shadow Beasts for Brugels to kill. And then we're all good. There we go, final hit, and now the way to Zend is free. So Zend is actually, for many, considered the actual true boss fight of the game, because it's like the most epic one. And yeah, Brugels is right. Brugels missed Rupee Roll once, got the backup. Didn't get the backup because the Rupee was wrong, and Pillar Clip once, indeed. That's all correct. Alright, Zend fight. Zend actually consists of multiple phases, and it's the one thing now in this run left where the routes that the four runners that took the Goldshred route took, and FX, who took the Zora Armor bite route, actually differ, just because FX has the Zora Armor. Yes, Tentagoose, there is a past speedrun for Twilight Princess done by Gymnast86, I believe 3 years ago now. Alright, first phase for Brugels done. That was the Forest Temple. Up to the Goron Mines phase. We never entered Goron Mines, but here we're gonna have a phase for him. There's a 1 cycle here that is a 1 frame trick, and Brugels got it. Nice. Now up to the Lakebed phase, and this is where the routes differ, by the way. So since Brugels, Dean, JD, and Ethernet Boys do not have the Zora Armor, they need to replenish their air using water bombs. So for the first hit, Brugels is just gonna pull out Zend, do a fast combo, right, left, up, down, then instantly pull out a bomb, replenish his air, just like we did it in Lakebed for the Morphin fight. And now we're gonna wait until the Xantheads are back out of the ground, and until the ice. That's important. Until the ice, because that moment when the ice come out of the ground determine in which Xanthead Zend will spawn, and it's always the one that is the furthest away from you. So in this case, that was that one. Brugels replenished his air, final combo on Zend, and this is the Lakebed phase. Next up, funnily enough, another Forest Temple phase. There's 2 of them for whatever reason. I think they just wanted to show off the cool music in the Uke fight. Alright, got that one done. Now the Snow Peak phase, which we visited but never finished because we left after the dungeon item. And this phase is also, sadly, the only reason, the actual only reason why we ever need to visit Snow Peak at all. Because we do need the ball and chain. Just for this one hit on the gigantic Zand, we need the ball and chain. If we didn't need that, we would skip so much stuff. But sadly, not the case. We need to get it here. There's no other way. Oh, and Zand almost trolling. All good though. Dean clean through the first two phases. And now in the Lakebed phase as well. Only barely behind. Not a lot behind Ruggles. Ruggles now in the final phase. There's a good setup for it. Found back in the day by the legendary SVA for the first hit, where we just start a combo as soon as the right pillar goes down. And that's it for the Zand fight. GG to Ruggles. Who will now make his way to Hyrule Castle. And no, Dean died! Dean, what happened? Oh no, that's so unfortunate. I didn't see it. Oh yeah, okay, I saw. Dean sadly messed up the water bomb pull and just started swimming without the water bomb and ran out of air. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I'm so sorry, Dean. Luckily, he started at the same phase that you died in, so it's not that gigantic a time loss. Everything else would be brutal. Alrighty, time to wrap up this run for dear Mr. Ruggles. None of the runners on sub 3 pace, by the way. The current world record is 252. But yeah, we're not on sub 3 pace for this race. Everybody had some mistakes. That's all good though, it's a marathon run. Alright, Ruggles here with the LJ over the mailman trigger, the second one in this run. Doesn't look like an LJ for much, but saves the hey from the mailman, which we don't want because it's slow. JD in the meantime trying his one cycle on the Gold Mines phase, sadly missing it here. And Ruggles going into the Squidna cutscene. Also nice bonk there. You can enter the loading zone and still bonk. So this is now the Squidna cutscene. So Midna will turn into a gigantic squid and tear down this wall, this barrier. By the way, just quickly so everybody knows, we'll actually after this run, after everybody finished, we're gonna go over to JD's JotWaD run instantly and have the other 4, if they want to, on comms with me for the quick run. And then afterwards, we're gonna go into Oracle of Seasons by TGH, the run that sadly had to be moved back earlier due to some scheduling conflict there. So, yeah, this is gonna be on deck after TP. And afterwards, we'll have several runs. First, the gigantic Ocarina of Time All Dungeons No SRM run by Nale, and then Oracle of Seasons randomizer. So 2 Oracle of Seasons in close succession. There's sadly no way around that, but that's all fine. We're gonna enjoy it a lot. I'm sure we're gonna. I'm sure you all gonna. I'm definitely gonna. Alright, time for Brugels to get into Hyrule Castle. We'll start with the first barrier. You can actually tell that Nintendo kind of was in a rush to finish this game up. Because the barriers that are here, well, how do we put it? How do I put it? They are not good. This first one can actually be bypassed, but it's just faster to use bombs to get past it, so that's what we're gonna do. But, yeah, it's really not fast. And really not hard to skip all these barriers, sorry. The second one, as you just saw, he just skipped by running around it, basically. And the third one shortly won't be better. We're gonna fight King Boblin for the final time now. For us, or for Brugels' route, it's only the second time. In the total game, it's the fourth time. Not FX, we're gonna have been doing all four. And he learned a bit. He's good at blocking now. And he will actually go for a spin attack, which would instantly kill us. So we need to go back, because this attack does a lot of damage, but greatly done by Brugels. Just a bit quick on the first attack, so we're all good. And sadly, Brugels missed the save warp here. So after this cutscene, you can actually use the one frame that you have before the Midna text pops up to get out the iron boots and jump, or to do a backflip. And if you get that, you have a bit of time to save warp. Saves a few seconds because you get back to the entrance and do not need to do the backtracking. It's not necessary to get it, so it's fine. But it's always hype when you get it. Also, yeah, Dean. Alright. Sadly, not in the cards this time. That I stay chill. Also, my voice is kind of getting wrecked. But I hope that's okay. I hope you all gonna bear with me. Alright, time to see how bad the final barrier really is. Oh, you just saw it, how bad the final barrier really is. We could just jump back past it. And now we are fighting the start nut. There's a really good strat for it. So basically just do wait for these specific moments and then do individual attacks, and then normally do not miss with the ball and chain. That is what was missed there. But yeah, you make the dark nut block and then get there. Also, hey, on FX's side, yes, I saw it. He got a mailman. And that's what we all run in the end, right? We just won the mailman, so hey. We're all happy now. It's all good. Dean purposely did mailman, I didn't see it. Sorry. Hard to keep track of forerunners when you need to administer a a marathon at the same time. I'm so sorry. But yeah, here these two Denolfos can actually be really finicky. Brugels going for the old thread there with throwing the bomb, which worked well. Good job. Also, let me quickly take this moment after we killed Arialphos to read 2 donations, by the way, which came in earlier. So yeah, Arialphos can be killed fairly quickly. It's actually the one cycle that we could have done almost like that earlier, but didn't because we just skipped it, which is obviously easier. Now we're getting the small key, and now while Link is on his way to get the big key, let me actually read 2 donations quickly. Thank you so much to Battle00333 for 25 bucks without a comment. Thank you so much, even though there's no comment, I thank you so much. And same to Jason Arilani for $100. Thank you, Jason, that's so generous of you. I appreciate you and everybody that donated and everybody that just joined us for this event. Thank you all so much. So close to $8,000. By the way, in this cutscene right now, we meet people that we never met in the entire speedrun. So who is this? All of these people we never met, like not a single one of them. Interesting, but hey, more power to you people. You meet them. Oh yeah, we actually met Oru. That's right, but only Oru and nobody else. And that's the boss key, and that's the final boss key of this run. Did we meet Russo? Well, where did we meet? Yeah, okay, technically we do, yeah. Alrighty. So, now this block room, by the way, for casual this is really confusing. First there's these ghost mice actually slowing it down. It's really confusing when you get in here the first time. But that's the more you know. Here, these Arialphos die quickly. This is basically the last 2 rooms, or the last big room, the last 2 floors. 1 times double claw shot. You actually don't even need the double claw shot nor the spinner here. You could do it with bombs, it's just a lot harder and not worth it, of course, because we need to get the spinner anyways. And here you need to wait to cycle out a bit. Brugel's taking it really safe. And here is the glitch that we found only years, like 10 years into the speedrunning of Twilight Princess. You can just skip this Dark Knight fight by claw-shotting this lantern in the wall. Alright, final stretch everybody, it's time. For Zelda. So this is the reason why top level speedrunning of Twilight Princess is really tedious, and I won't lie about it, it is really tedious. Because, well, how do I put it? This Zelda fight is complete RNG. So the lowest amount of cycles that you can get to kill Zelda is 7. You need these light balls, which Ruggles didn't get on the first cycle, so he can't get a 7th cycle anymore. And you need to reflect these 3 times. Let's see what he gets on the 2nd attack. That attack that he just got, the triangle attack, is the slowest one. Oh, and now the dash, so at least a 9th cycle. And there's the first ball. So between the 1st and 2nd ball there is at least 1 other attack, and between the 2nd and 3rd there's at least 3 different attacks, which is why we can only get a 7th cycle. And as Dean said, the different phases of this attack pattern can vastly differ in time, so it can easily take forever, even though it's it is a 7th cycle. This was now the number 5, so the best is still 9. Meanwhile, FX fighting Dark Knight Dean getting the big key. JD closely behind, but technically JD is ahead of Dean at least. Probably not quite of Brugels, but at least of Dean. This was the 7 for Brugels. And by the way, after Brugels finished, we're gonna switch over to these Internet boys to show what he did. This was now 8 for Brugels, and let's see if he gets the 9 cycle.
Good time for me to throw out a donation since you reminded me I wasn't paying attention.
Let's wait until Brugels is finished.
Okay.
Not getting the 9th cycle. There it is. It's a 10. It's a 10. Tenth cycle for Brugels. Not fast. Really, really bad. And now we have Beast Cannon. Not the Beast Cannon from... Oh, can you actually get the combo in now, Brugels? Yes. Alright. We do 2 times 4 single slashes and a full combo. And then just 1 hit. Dash is definitely preferred Benji, as it has less lag and it's generally faster if you handle it properly. Corner straight here, because it's slightly faster. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. A full combo and a jump attack, of course. And now it's just 1 more hit as Wolf to kill Beast Cannon. FX killing Aerial Force at the same time. And Dean making it into Zelda as well. Alright, Brugels getting rid of Beast Cannon right now. Meanwhile, Dean getting a first cycle ball, so still in the chance for a 7th cycle. That's hard to say, Benji, especially since the time between the phases is so different. But it's not that much. A Triforce is not that much slower than a dash, and a dash is not consistent. So. Alright. Dean's still on track with the 3rd attack being a ball. Alright, Horsepack for Brugels. You need to have Zelda hit Ganon 3 times, and it's not RNG if Zelda hits or not, but you can actually use the camera to actively try to make her aim correctly. However, some Ganon patterns make this really hard. 1 more hit. Oh, really good. Really well done by Brugels. And this is gonna be a 33, 42 roughly on Brugels' side of the stream. A little bit more on our side. And Dean is getting a super fast 8 cycle, which is really nice. Easily saved a minute there, if not more, on Brugels. So yeah, Dean, Brugels about to finish. Dean is gonna come in 2nd place, however, probably not officially in 2nd place. Dean getting wrecked by Beast Ganon. Can he get his full combo in? Yes, he can. Alright, all good. Alright, this end fight is really simple. Just 3 attacks from behind, 3 jump attacks from behind, and then a final stab. And GG to Brugels, finishing with a final time of a 3:03.42. GG indeed. That works. 43 on the restream because it's rounded up. And since Brugels is done, Brugels, you are invited to join our stream. I'm gonna swap you out on the restream for the Ethernet boys. Which is also finally in Hyrule Castle. Gonna take a little longer. I will probably not quite make the estimate. But that's okay. And before we welcome Brugels, Tom, go ahead with your donation. Hey, Brugels.
So we got a $10 donation from Kate saying, "Great race and great cause, thank you." And now I'll shut up again.
All right, thank you so much. Brugels, GG, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want to say that I wouldn't have finished first if I actually did the Midna's Desperate Hour cutscene. But I still
probably be around. JD would have probably barely finished first, right?
Yeah, I think it would have been very close for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, honestly. I think for the first half of the run, I was playing not my best, but I think I started to play more solidly in the second half, with a few hiccups here and there.
Indeed. But yeah, nice run. Of course, mid-game or early game was a bit rough with like pillar clip and rupee roll, but besides that, I was solid.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, Dean about to finish. Let's see what his final time is gonna be. There we go. Final hit.
Yep.
And that's it. Oh, the iron... and messing up the iron boots equip. But double lantern iron boots finish for Dean. GG.
Of course.
The meme machine.
Very nice from Dean.
Indeed, GG.
Good strong finish.
And here, next up, comes the winner of the hearts, Mr. JD Linkmaster himself, who did honor the incentive. And Dean, if you want to join us, please feel free to join us in here. Dean, GG.
GG, everybody.
What's up, Dean?
Yo. Holy moly.
Holy moly, indeed.
Yeah, that was a fun race. It was great when I woke up at 9. I was like, all right, we're gonna get ready, and then oh, we got canceled. Are you guys ready sooner? I'm like, oh god.
It was only like 20 minutes.
Dude. Yeah, we started 20 minutes after I woke up. I was not in it.
Alright, GG. Also JD with the double finish. Oh, and missing one slash. Holy shit. GG, JD.
GG. Very, very nice.
Now we get to see a wonderful JotWaD here soon.
Indeed. I actually wonder, yeah, I kind of want to have Ethernet finish as well. That would be kind of dumb to not have him finish.
I'm kind of curious as well. How did the start of everyone else's runs go? Because I wasn't really watching until like the halfway point, pretty much.
My first major mistake was pillar clip.
Oh, okay.
So I was pretty clean, but I really fell off at Morpheal and Arbiters and Sky Temple and Palace.
Yeah, I failed rupee roll and pillar clip, which honestly I don't really know why I failed Ruby Roll. I'm not really sure what went wrong, but I guess I'll have to look into it.
I had a quick fail on Pillar. I noticed right away it was bad, and I was like, you know what? Right away.
Yeah. Hey, JD. GG.
Hey, GG.
Let's go. Oh, GG. GGJD.
Same to you. That run was funny. That was a funny run.
Dude, look at
Indeed.
FX, dude. Did you 3:10 on the dot for his race time?
Oh, nice. And with Bite Zora Armor out.
Yeah, very good
Very,
run
very
from
nice.
him. Good execution.
Yeah. FX actually sadly voided during Epona slide over the gorge. And
Yeah.
missed Sword and Shield skip twice.
Oof. Didn't
Yeah.
Ethernet miss it as well?
Yeah, Ethernet misses it as well. I believe also twice.
Yeah, so these are still solid runs for losing, almost 3 minutes to right off the early game, which can really damage your mental composure for the rest of the run sometimes.
Indeed. I actually have an idea. What do you think of that? So
You have an idea?
should we just have JD run JotWaD while Ethernet is still going? Like on the same page?
That is an option because it'd be about the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you started like right now, it'd be about the same time for finishing up.
What do you think of it, JD?
I want to do whatever you guys want to do. I'm fine with whatever.
Wait, what are we
Would be
doing?
an interesting race. Who can finish first? Defeating Ganon or jumping off a building?
All right, let me actually get that set. That's actually kind of funny. And quickly get you the commentary page here in the race commentary ZSR1 room. You can all find it. And now I'm gonna make a quick switch, so we're gonna see JD and the Ethernet boys. So it's gonna be funky, but it should work out, I hope. Let me see if I can make this happen.
Did anyone else go for fast bid at the beginning?
Nah.
No, you went for that?
Dude, I always do. I've never
Yeah.
not
Oh
gone for
my
it.
god. You
I'm the
mad
dude.
I did go for barrier 1 skip, but I accidentally I messed it up. I actually had it, like the setup was perfect and the throw was perfect too, but I still messed it up.
All right, guys,
Unfortunate.
we're gonna have somebody reading this poem alongside the run, or what?
Who's got the nicest voice?
I already did it once. I'm not gonna do it again.
That's fine.
I will. If somebody will send it to me, I can do it.
I think it's in the description of Jim's JotWaD test.
Wow, making me
The
look
lyrics.
The lyrics.
Right,
I'll
1
try to time
second.
it with
Screens
our
will be- Screens will be back any second. 1 moment. There we go. So, who's gonna do it?
I have it pulled up right here.
Alright, cool.
Let's see what I can do.
So, everybody ready for
Hold on. Do you have the stream that JDLM has, like, so I can be like more timed with him?
Yeah, just open the commentary page. It will be synced with what we see on a restream. So,
Where is that?
I pinged you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Just open the link that you see there, and then that's all. Alright, JD, I'm gonna give you a little countdown if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then you can start. Alright, so 5. Just for the others, there's gonna be a delay, so just wait until you see it on your feed. JD has a different countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, JD.
This is the tale of the JotWaD epic. Forgive me beforehand if my rhymes are terrible. I hope that by the end, you find them bearable. If you choose to watch through, let me show you a story about the Twilight Princess JotWaD speedrun meme category. Our story begins with rolls to the right falling into a void, our first goal in sight. Ordon Spring has a bridge over a void we seek, blocked by a gate which thankfully is quite weak. We pick up a rock, then target and move to lock Link's angle in the upper control stick groove. With Link's angle now locked, we walk straight, taking the shortest path as we approach this gate. Link will place the rock, then side hop and bonk out, and flip into the void, silent, with no shout. Link responds at the start, the title screen of the game, where we reset and voided on the exact same frame. But alas, we're not done. We must now kill our hero. So let's void out again and set his health to 0. Game over now appears, a vital piece in our success. So let's wait for the retry and then select yes. The lighting has now changed. It is whiter than before, which means King Bulbin is now here, atop his blue boar. A battle now ensues, but the king is undefeated. So Link makes quick work, and the battle is now ended.
Never mind.
It's ending. It's ending. Just give it a minute.
Let's give it a minute, just a moment.
Calm down. Calm down. Battle is now ended.
Oh, the battle has ended. With that quick fight, the first phase is done. The second now begins under the shimmering evening sun. Link charges forward aggressive with his speed, but suddenly halts and turns around his steed. He unleashes a spin and strikes down the king, who lets out a roar before sits down while falling. The day has been saved, and our hero has won. But our goal is the JotWaD, so we're not quite done. After skipping a cutscene with some epic slow zooms, we arrive in a village, which the Twilight consumes. Right now, our final goal is prevented by a glitch, so let's reload this village to fix this slight hitch. We arrive at a house in this Twilight disorder, choosing right door not left as the animation is shorter. Returning outside, 3 beasts we must face, but they'll be no problem. I'm sure this run is on pace. First one down with a quick spin of skill. We roll to the next one and then stand still. Now we must wait for the shadows to attack to cut us down to 1 heart before we fight back. With the trio struck down, a portal is restored. However, it's useless, so it'll be ignored. What are we doing? A curious viewer would ask. I don't understand. What is our task? Well, my dear viewer, just wait and you will see. I'll tell you in a minute what our task is to be. For now, let us enter this bomb shop right here. Very soon, I promise, the answer will be clear. In the bomb shop we go, up the stairs and around, to reach a small ladder and hear an insect shadow sound. The ladder leads out to a roof colored blue, and we'll turn around and let more rolling ensue. Up the stairs to a path where we'll continue to roll up the brown switchbacks almost to our goal. We can see it now, the watchtower in sight. This will be end if we do it right. We go through the door, entering from below, and we're graced with more ladders, which are, yes, very slow. Going higher and higher, more ladders we climb, nearing the end, awaiting our final time. They exit the door, through another door we must go, and see the camera out of bounds for reason I don't know. And now we're here, our final destination, where we see the purpose of this meme's creation. For now, we are very up and very high, enough to jump off the watchtower and die.
Beautiful. Absolutely
GG.
amazing.
G-
Fantastic. GG, JD.
GG, JD, and Ether for finishing almost at the exact same time as well.
Absolutely.
That was wonderful.
That was
GG.
actually wonderful. Yeah. Sorry,
To
JD. I had
all
to
the
mute.
runners.
I had to deafen you because we had an echo.
No, that's okay. You're good.
But yeah, that was straight up outstanding. GG to the Ethernet boys as well. We also just hit $8,000 during this final poem. So thank you all
Oh my
so much.
It's
Holy
amazing.
shit, that was amazing. I would bring. I'm so sorry. I would bring in the Ethernet boys, but we kind of need to wrap up and get going. Guys, thank you so much for this run, for this race, and the JotWaD. Thank you so much, community, for making it happen. JD, thank you for pulling it off.
Thanks to our
Dean,
amazing commentator.
Thank you. Keaton jumped in
thanks
to
for having
commentate
us.
as well.
Thank you guys.
Keaton,
Sure.
yeah, shoutouts.
Shoutouts to Keaton. Shoutouts to Dean for the poem. And with that, actually, let's dive over to the break screen and see you all very soon for Oracle of Seasons.
Can I throw out one last donation before you head over?
Sure. Go
We
for
have
it.
a $128.20 anonymous donation saying,
Wow.
loving everything about this charity marathon. Big thanks to everyone involved. And that's what brought us up to that 8K.
Thank you.
That's awesome.